11, Town of Wareham Board of Selectmen Sewer Commission meeting. I'd like to make an announcement before we open up. I am requesting that all cell phones and electronic devices be turned off or in a mute position as to not disturb the meeting. Any member of the public also has a right to make an audio or video recording of an open session of a public meeting. A member of the public who wishes to record a meeting must first notify the chair and must comply with reasonable requirements regarding audio or video equipment established by the chair so as not to interfere with the meeting. The chair is required to inform other attendees of such recording at the beginning of the meeting. We have 2 individuals tonight who are recording. Now call the meeting to order.
Mr. Chairman, all 5 selectmen are present, as is Town Administrator Mark Andrews.
Thank you very much. Announcements?
The first announcement tonight is a reminder to everyone that town meeting, the fall town meeting, will begin next Monday, October 25th at 7 p.m. in the Wareham High School cafeteria on the 24th. And if the meeting carries over, a second night will be on the 25th, also at 7 p.m. And God forbid it carries over even longer, we'll be there on Halloween at 7 p.m. Just a reminder, to help with the beginning of the meeting, remember that when you come to town meeting, you have to check in and get a card. So it's almost like registering to vote. You have to go over and see the ladies and the gentlemen, give me your name and address. So try to give yourself a few extra minutes before 7. That might help to get the meeting off on time. We're going to hear a little bit more about this in a few minutes, but a reminder that Veterans Day on Friday, November the 11th, we'll be having our Wareham Veterans Day Parade. It will start up at the Narrows, come down through Main Street, and end up here at Town Hall. Assembly is at 10, and the parade will begin at 10:30. There will also be a great light potluck luncheon for veterans, parade participants at the Multi-Service Center. Mr. White will be up in a few minutes to let us know where he's at, as promised last week. A couple other announcements. The Wareham Police Department has an announcement that on Saturday, October the 29th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Wareham Fire Department on 273 Main Street, Wareham and surrounding area towns are encouraged to gather expired, unused, and unneeded medications, which will be collected and safely disposed of by the DEA at no cost to local communities. Chief Stanley is urging all residents, you've probably seen these programs in other communities, and kudos to the chief and his team for putting this program together here in Wareham. That's going to be, again, on Saturday, October the 29th. So we'll read this again next week to remind you, but any unused, expired, unneeded medications, bring them to the fire station, and they will be disposed of. This coming weekend, and I got a chance to see some of this last night. It was really quite amazing to watch our youth and see the talent that many of them have. But Bog Fright Night is coming, and wagon rides will start at the Tohonet Village from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is being put on by and benefiting the Onset Youth Center. As many of you know, we're trying to rebuild the Onset Youth Center over on 10th Street in Onset. The Wareham Public Schools and Mass Children Relief Fund is also benefiting from this event. Reservations are $5. If you pay when you get there, it's $7. And they are suggesting to secure desired nighttime dates and to avoid a line, you can make reservations by either stopping in at the village, Tohonet Village, or calling them. Again, that's this weekend. I won't share the details of what I saw, so it'll be a surprise, but I'll tell you, when you watch our kids practice so hard and entertain, for you, it's worth taking a few minutes and going out and seeing what they're doing. This is kind of an advance notice. I'll keep repeating this. As many of you know, many of us on the board here believe Barbara Sullivan is just an angel waiting to happen. On November the 14th, and this is going to be held at the Century House in Acushnet, Massachusetts, is the 17th annual Steak and Burger Dinner to benefit the Boys Club of Greater New Bedford and Wareham. So if you want, you can give Barbara a call. They are looking for sponsorships, corporate sponsorships, and as we get closer, I'll give you, I don't have a lot of ticket details at this point, but I wanted you to give you a date to mark the calendar. On October the 21st, which is coming up as well this week, the Tremont Nursing Home and Rehab Facility on Main Street in Wareham is having a children's Halloween party, and that's from 4 to 5:30 p.m. They will have books, reading the books. Kids should dress up in their Halloween costumes. They'll have reading, story reading, refreshments. All children will leave with a gift. And again, that's Friday, October 21st from 4 to 5:30 p.m. at the Tremont Nursing Home. There is a graphic novel workshop coming up on October the 20th, which is Thursday, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Wareham Free Library. It is being presented by the Dandelion Studios. There's and I guess I should know this, but Sean is 11, so I don't follow this stuff too much, I guess, but an enemy night at the Wareham Library, and this is on October 19th, which is tomorrow, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Meet up with some other enemy fans, age 13 plus, at the Wareham Free Library to watch ROD, Read or Die, an original video animation. Admission is free, and hey, there are refreshments, so there's no advance registration. That's tomorrow night. Many have asked where I find these things. I mean, they're all over, but please, if you have if your committee or your team is doing some kind of an event, get the word out to one of the 5 of us here, and we'll be more than happy. It only takes 2 minutes to read these, but if we can help you in any way to make your program successful, then we'll have a 2nd annual, 3rd annual, 10th annual, and I'll go around the table at this point. But please don't hesitate to let us know what events you're having. Mrs. Winslow, do you have any in addition?
I don't have any announcements, but I can vouch for that Bog Fright Night.
Uh-huh.
I worked it last year, and those kids are just incredible. It's worth it.
Mr. Schneider?
No
Mrs.
announcements.
Bagley? Mr. Chairman? That's it for announcements. Citizens' participation is next.
Citizens' participation. We have one. I want to make a correction. We have 3 people recording this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your support, especially Mr. Clerk, for the continuing announcements that you've made, and to the Town Administrator for assisting us in getting out some of the announcements and invitations. I'm Bob White. I'm working with the Chairman of the Wareham Veterans Council, along with Sharon Boyer and John Wagner, and we're trying to pull together the activities for Veterans Day, November 11th, which is Friday, about 3 weeks from now. The activities will consist basically, as the clerk has mentioned, will consist of a parade, which starts at 10:30, a ceremony which will follow immediately after the parade terminates in the vicinity of Town Hall and the monument that's out front. And then the parade participants and the veterans that are able to be around here will be invited to a light potluck luncheon in the multi-service center. I've already distributed some of the highlights of what we've got going here to the Board of Selectmen. But our Grand Marshal is Mr. Ted DeMullen, who's a 92-year-old World War II veteran, Coast Guard veteran. I've interviewed Ted previously, and I found that to be he is a charming individual. So we're pleased to have him be part of our parade. We've got bands coming from Bourne High School, Wareham High School, and we anticipate that we will get some support from Old Rochester. We've invited fire departments in Bourne, Wareham Onset, and Marion. We know we can get support from Onset and Wareham. Likewise, we've invited Wareham's Junior ROTC, who we expect to participate not only in the parade but in the ceremony as well. We've got youth groups committed to come, specifically the Boys and Girls Club, which we are very grateful for, as well as the Boys and Girls Scouts in this area, Cub Scouts and 4-H Club with some horses from the Cape, as well as one from Freetown. We've invited Shamrods, which is a car club. They meet periodically at the Cape Cod Vocational High School, Regional Vocational High School. They are expected to participate at some level with some transportation for some of the veterans that can't march in the parade. And we do expect to provide some transportation for those folks as well. I want to pause it for a moment and introduce Jim Newman, who's the chairman of the Wareham Veterans Council, whom I know most of us have seen at this table many times.
Yeah, most of you, particularly everybody up there knows me pretty well. But that pain in the butt's coming up again.
Don't worry about it, Jim.
I'm being polite tonight.
Thanks, Jim. It's right in the middle of my announcement.
This parade, I did this for 10 years now. But now Bob and Sharon and John Wagner have taken it over. And all I can do is say thank you, fellas. It's an awful lot of work they're putting into it. A lot of time goes into it. Now we hope to have all your selectmen there, or as many as can make it on the 11th. Now, as a lot of people don't know, and I've said it before, November 11th is now Veterans Day. It was originally known as Armistice Day. And my day growing up was known as Armistice Day. And they get it from World War I, the 11th day, the 11th hour, when the armistice was signed at the end of World War I. I bet just a few people here that didn't know that the armistice was signed on the 11th day, the 11th hour. And I believe it was another 11 in there for some reason. I can't think of it myself for the time being. But like I said, originally it was Armistice Day. Now it's called Veterans Day. It was changed by one of our past presidents. Got changed to a holiday. But like most of us growing up, it was Armistice Day, not Veterans Day. Now we're honoring all veterans. And most veterans are, I don't know about most of them, but myself, I served, but I was damn proud to serve too. And people come up and thank me now, and I said, I don't need thanks because I did what I wanted to do and I liked it. I'd do it again, but I can't. They won't let me in with the chair. They told the wheels aren't fast enough.
I'll continue then, Jim, if that's all right.
No. And one other, they got one group missing here. Gatra's going to put a bus in to help transport the veterans. I've talked to Gatra about it, and they said it's fine.
So you got somebody?
We have some transportation for veterans, but
We can always use more. Because most of us get too damn old to walk that far.
I
From
know
the
that
cavalry, they can always take the horse.
I know that based on the
I'd take the horse
records,
if I could take it. I don't walk anymore. I use this. I use my wheels now. Back when they started this, they were using the horses.
I know that based on the records of the town clerk, there are approximately 1,800 veterans, self-declared veterans, in Wareham alone. So if we don't get at least half of those into the parade, I'll be surprised. In any case, just to continue for just a bit, we've invited several military units, and apparently their response will be at the last minute. But nevertheless, we've gone out to the Army National Guard in Bourne as well as at Otis. We've invited the selectmen to participate as well. We hope that they will be visible and able to help not only in the parade but with the luncheon. Many of the restaurants and other food establishments in the area are participating, and you have a list. I won't read that list off at this moment, but they've all been agreed to provide some food. If someone else is interested in providing some food, we certainly don't want to run out of food at the luncheon. And it's called potluck for a reason, because we have no clue, nor are we trying to manipulate the menu. There are some needs, however. One of the needs is confirmed parade participants. We're also continuing to look for transportation for veterans. We're looking for a lowboy to perhaps move a band. We're looking for a couple of trucks that will be able to play martial music from their speakers in the back. As I said, we're looking for food, and we're looking for folks who are just willing to help for a couple of hours, whether it be picking up things or helping to go coordinate those last-minute details that we can't all get to. I do have a list of people who have agreed to help me. I'll keep those a secret until after the parade and so forth are over. But again, I do want to say thank you for the support that the board has given us, and we look forward to keeping you updated and as we work toward the 11th of November. Are there any questions? Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you very much. And,
Thank you.
I hope all the veterans that we do have quite a few in Wareham,
Yes,
and I
I
hope
think
we
that's-
step up. All we're given is one day, and it's a few hours, so we need to show the people that we do have a lot of veterans in Wareham, and we were willing to step up, so let's step out and step out. Mr. Noor?
Yeah, I just want to say, anybody wants to know how many veterans we have, and they want to see a list, I have a book called the list of every veteran in town here, coming from the King George War up to the present. If anyone wants to see it, come see me in my display office, and I'll show it to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Since there aren't any more citizen participation, discussion of Westfield.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the board and to the listening audience, just an update. Susan Green and I are still working with Peter Sanborn from the Cedar office to get emails out. We modified the email that we had sent out, or the letter that we had sent out to prospective participants in this process. We also are fielding phone calls from developers that are interested in questions and answers that we have provided to them. And that's a verbal update. I'll make sure you have a formal written update first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Consent agenda?
There we go. I have no bills to sign. We have no legal bills to approve or sign. Meeting minutes. We have a set of minutes from April 25th, 2011. This is a meeting that was rescheduled from April 19th, 2011. Make a motion that we approve them.
I'll second for discussion.
Motion made and second. Discussion?
Mr. Chair, I had one question on the minutes under number 7, license and permits. When we discussed Ms. Smith's at Sail Away Studios, the event that she was having and whether she needed a liquor license, and Attorney Bowen asked if he wasn't invited and showed up, would he be served? The minutes reflect that she responded that he would be served, but I believe if you listen to the tape, the answer was no, it was an invitation-only event, which is why she did not require a permit.
That's correct.
I'm pretty sure that was. So if we could make that adjustment to the minutes,
Withdraw your second.
I'll withdraw my second.
I withdraw my motion. I make a motion to approve the minutes, subject to editing 7 licenses and permits to read that Mrs. Smith stated that he would not be served unless he received an invitation to the event.
Motion made.
Second.
Motion second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And will she ever return the $100?
500.
Next up, we have a minutes from May the 10th, 2011. I read them, but I was absent, so I could use some help here with the motion.
Mr. Chair, there were a couple things in here, and I know that Janet had, I just wanted to make sure that I'm just trying to scan them.
We're waiting for a motion or a correction.
I just want to make sure that if there were any more corrections that needed to be made, I catch them before I made the motion. So can you give me 30 seconds to... Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 10th, 2011 as written.
Motion made. Michael Allen. Made and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? 4-0,
Abstain.
yeah. 4-0-1.
Next, we have a set of minutes from June the 7th, 2011. And I need some help with that one. I wasn't here.
Yeah, I'm just going to do the same thing that I just did. Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes of June 7th, 2011 as written.
Motion made. Second by Allen. Any questions? Hearing none. Take a vote. All in favor? Aye. 4-0-1.
Yes, sir. Mike, that was it. You were yes, right, Mr. Schneider?
I'm sorry.
Yes?
Yes.
401. Next, we have the minutes from June 11th, 2011. I make a motion that we accept the minutes as read or written.
Mr. Chair, I'll second for discussion.
Second
If
for
you have
discussion.
if you have an amendment, just don't second it.
Okay.
Take the floor.
I'm
and
going to
make your
withdraw
amendment,
my second.
please.
Do you want me to tell you what the edit is?
Or you can just make the motion with it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you withdraw your motion?
I didn't. And there was no seconds.
Oh, okay, you're right. Sorry, this head cold. I make a motion to approve the minutes of June 21st, 2011, with the following edit. Under number 5, citizens' participation, on page 3 at the very bottom, present before the board, change Joan to Jennifer. That's the only edit I had.
Any others? All right, I'll second that as amended.
Motion made, motion second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 5-0-0.
Okay, the next set of minutes we have is from June the 28th. Mrs. Winslow?
Janet had told me that she had made a lot of these corrections, and I was supposed to go in this morning and pick up these copies, but unfortunately I've been very sick, so I didn't get there, so I'm just scanning. But these do look okay, Mr. Holmes.
I make a motion that we accept. Anyone else before we?
Motion
That's a
made.
bit odd, but why go through the trouble of
Right.
motion and seconded and then withdrawing?
So,
Ms. Begley?
Was there a second?
No.
No, she's got a question.
I have a question. I had a question about the synopsis that was written for under item number 10, and I would rather hold off on approval of these minutes till I can listen to the tape, if that's acceptable to the board.
Sure. You want to hold these off? Make a motion we table these 2 weeks after town meeting. Fine. Make a
second.
motion we table these until November 14th. Okay?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? 5-0-0.
2 amendments and a table. Okay. Just last week, if I might, while we're on the minutes, last week we brought up the fact that we have a gaping large hole in missing minutes. We've been working on them this week. Shirley sent me a packet. Some of those are our meetings, some are not. So I have to go out, trying to get all this put together. I'm absent a couple of myself that I have to type up. But they have also had some, I hate to use that term, senior work-off person, but that's what they call them, I guess. So they've had some assistants in the office this week, so they've been able to try to get more of this pulled together. Now, the crunch we have is that if we got a bunch of these done this week, but they're not ready for Thursday at 4 o'clock, and it takes 2 weeks to get them on the agenda. So one of the questions I had for the board was, can't we just have approval of minutes on the agenda, or approval of past minute? Well, of course, it would all be past minutes, right? But do we have to actually list every single date of the minutes that we can approve?
Yes.
Why is that? I don't get that part.
Well, as
Do you
far
have to be that specific?
Well, as far as I know, it's protocol, and it has been protocol. We've been putting the minutes
Yeah.
down. So
I understand the protocol, Mr. Chairman, but we're trying to get these minutes
Right.
uncovered, dug out, and approved so
And Mr.
that...
Clerk, once we
Mr.
catch up, as it was mentioned last week, there should be any problem. There should only be 1 or 2 on the agenda every week.
Right.
Once we catch up, it's just the idea of us catching up so we can keep going. So now with the added person in there to help us, I think we should be able to do it.
Right, but to follow up, if I might, so let me just get the events right, because we're trying to get a bunch of these done this week. Now, usually we have one agenda for town meeting, and we do work on it Monday, and then it falls over to Tuesday. The same agenda. So if you do that, then we're cut off from getting more minutes done. What's the timeline? You said Thursday afternoon. For a Tuesday, so are you saying that this week the cutoff is tomorrow for Monday? So, I mean-
It has to be posted.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm trying to get some leeway here, if I could, to
Well, I think the leeway has already been set because we're so far behind now. So one more week won't make any difference. And as long as we start catching up, when we come back to our regular meetings, I think we should catch up. Because as of right now, we have, 5 on it? So we did catch up quite a bit, so
I have a stack.
it'll be a lot easier.
I have a stack of about 20, I bet. And I printed them all out. I
I
have it.
think you need to tighten up. But no.
Well, no, you're right. Listen, we're not saying we don't. I'm just trying to figure out how, if we bust our tail over the next couple of days and get some done, I don't want to get them done and then we can't present them to the board for 2
Well,
weeks.
Let's get them done, and we can put so many on each agenda as it comes up. However you want to do your section, the way we're doing it now, the people in the office are trying to get everything that's our regular meetings. So if you have executive, just get them as soon as you can, and we'll bring them up. Mr. Snyder?
Mr. Chairman, just with respect to compliance with the open meeting law, Steve, I think what you're trying to say is you want to get them done and approved in order to comply with open meeting law. Is that what you're?
Well, that's part of it. But
Okay.
but with the deadlines that we have now set for this agenda that we use every week, Thursday afternoon is the cutoff that the chairman has set. So, and that's for a Tuesday night meeting. So next week we're meeting on Monday night at town meeting. So the agenda for town meeting runs 2 nights. It's one agenda. So he's saying that tomorrow night, Wednesday night, is the cutoff for that agenda.
Right. Well,
So if we work, Wednesday, Thursday, and get these minutes done, I'd like to be able to bring them up next week and get them through.
Okay, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Chair?
That's all. That's what I'm
Excuse me,
asking. I'm asking for
Yeah,
clarification.
But I'm going to clarify it.
Okay.
The reason why I set it for Thursday at noontime is because we missed a couple of deadlines when we had a holiday on a Monday. So to alleviate that, we do it on a Thursday.
Right.
If it's ready, we send it in on a Thursday. If we have a Tuesday meeting, the latest we can send it on a Friday, so we're covered. So even though we have Monday, we can still send it in Thursday at noontime. So I don't think we'll have a problem on that. Mrs. Winslow?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can I make a suggestion? Because we would be getting into July. There were 2 meetings in July and 3 in August, I believe. Why don't we just list those dates, and if the meetings minutes are not complete by Monday, then we just pull them off the agenda. It's easier to put something on the agenda and take it off than not put something on the agenda.
Could do that.
I mean,
that
that's
would work too, I guess. Yeah.
the worst case scenario is that some of them aren't finished and we have to table them until a later date. But at least that way, if you get some of them done, then we're not going to have more than 5 done by Monday. So, well, maybe we will, but realistically,
Well, on the minutes, they are all in the office now. The ladies in the office are working on it. They know the numbers and the dates better than we do here. And when they have it done, they'll have it on a Thursday. And if they don't, then they'll post it for the next week or whenever they do. It's just like right now, we haven't had any for a couple of weeks. All of a sudden, we have, 5? So now that they got the added person, it'll back up on us. And once we have it, then like I said before, every week we should have 1. And if we have an executive, if we're on it, it should be only 2. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
License,
we have the,
no, we have appointment, sorry.
Interviews and appointments here. We got, who's up first? Board of Health.
Which one are you looking for?
Dr. Unger? Dr. Hunger? I don't know. All right. We also have an interview for the library board. Mrs. Gay, are you here? Come right on up. Don't be afraid. You got to talk right into that. You get right up close to it. A little closer than that. and just tell us who you are and why you're interested in serving on the Board of Libraries Trustees.
My name is Bethany Gay, and I'm a Wareham resident. And I'd like to be on the Board of Trustees because I'd like to give back to the community, and I can't think of a better way to spend my time. My daughters have been very active in the library, and they've developed such a love for reading, and I'm just very grateful. And I think it's an important staple in our community, and I'd like to help to keep it that way.
Any questions from the board?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Are you a U.S. citizen?
I am a U.S. citizen.
Thank you.
I've done a lot of grant writing. Before I was a mom, I was a transportation coordinator. I actually was in charge of a $500,000 grant, and I have a lot of experience with grant writing and different things, so I think I would be very helpful for the board.
Mr. Snyder?
I see that you filed a disclosure of a conflict of, or appearance of a conflict of interest. You weren't really sure whether it was a
Right.
conflict or not, and I certainly appreciate that you're aware of the conflict of interest law, and it certainly seems that you have a lot of experience with children.
Yes.
So, we need folks involved with the library and other groups that have a genuine interest in making sure that our youth have somewhere constructive to go. I appreciate your application.
Thank you.
Mr. Begley?
Mr. Schneider stole my thunder. It's quite, your resume is quite impressive
Thank you.
with children, and I think you'd be a wonderful asset to the Library Board of Trustees.
Mr. Holmes? I appreciate you stepping up to the plate, volunteering, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right.
No,
It wasn't that bad, was it?
not at all. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board received an email in their packets from Janet, from Mr. Flaherty. I never realized they called this Bolt. I kind of saw emails with Bolt on it, didn't know what that was, and then I realized what it was. But, Mrs. Gay and others have been before the Bolt for their interviews already, and she is being recommended, so I'd make a motion at this time that we appoint Bethany Gay to the Library Board of Trustees for a term to expire no later than, she put it on here for me, 2000, no. What's that? It's usually right on here. I think it's 2013, I believe. 3 years.
I believe we're filling.
Mr. Flaherty said 2013, right, Michael? 3 years? Right.
Well,
So this is 2011, so it would be to a term to expire
No.
June 30th. What?
we're filling a vacated term. I believe it's 2013. There's 2 years left on the term that we don't create a new term.
I was
The-
correct, 2013.
Yes.
All right, so I'd make a motion that we appoint Bethany Gay as a member of the Board of Library Trustees, with a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2013.
Second.
Motion made, motion second by Mr. Snyder. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 5-0-0.
Mrs. Gay, are you still here, or did you run out? You know Mr. Flaherty, right? Exchange phone numbers, and remember to come in and get sworn in at the town clerk's office. Mike will walk you through the steps. And thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Next up, we have the road commissioners. Here's the paper for that. We have 4 members. Or just a reminder on what we're talking about here. This is a board of 7 people with 3 permanent members, one being the chief of police, the other being the town planner, and the director of public maintenance. There are 4 members appointed by the Board of Selectmen, whose terms shall be 2 years each, with 2 of the appointee positions expiring each year. So we have 2 that we need to appoint for a term to expire 2012 and 2 to expire in 2013 to make this happen. You have the packets from Janet. We have 3 applicants at this point. We still would like to have a full membership here, but if we have 3 appointees with the 3 permanent members, the chief, then at least the road commit, we can hand that off and have the road commissioner sworn in. The chief can call a meeting, and then they would become the official road commissioners in town, but we still would like to try to get the 4th seat filled by the board if we could, so that we'd have a full board.
So can we have a motion made?
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me just, I'm going to take this paper clip out because it's driving me nuts. All right, I'm going to make a motion that we appoint Sarah Forrest as a member of the Board of Road Commissioners with a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2013.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion made. Second.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Winslow. Any questions? Yeah, Mrs. Winslow, second.
Kara?
Mrs. Winslow.
Hearing, seeing no hands raised for question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 500.
Who seconded that? Mr. Steiner seconded that?
No.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Yes, that was 2013.
Mrs. Forrest, are you here? Chief, we'll make sure that you get a list. I'll have all the phone numbers. And I usually call them anyway, but I'll make sure that you get a list with all the phone numbers. All right. And some of these might have email addresses on them. But I'll make sure that you get that list. Yeah, they all, well, for the most part, have emails on them as well. I'd make a motion that we appoint Joseph J. Cardoza to the position of Road Commissioner with a term to expire June 30th, 2013.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Mrs. Winslow. Hearing any questions? No questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? 500.
Mr. Cardoza, are you here? Oh, there you are. Okay. Congratulations. You would need to get sworn in, right? When you get time, and the chief will notify you. I guess we just made the chief the chairman, at least for the first meeting, right? And the chief will notify you when the first meeting will be. Thank you very much for volunteering your time and service. Okay, that takes care of the 2013 list. I'd make a motion that we appoint Peter Williamson to the position of Road Commissioners. Now, this term would expire on June 30th, 2012.
Second.
Motion made, second by Mrs. by Mrs. Winslow. Question? Mrs. Begley?
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. When we interviewed Mr. Williamson, and I know that this has nothing really to do with construction, however, he does do road construction in town, and from what I understand, I remember there was an exchange of emails that Mr. Williamson was going to check with ethics to be sure that there wasn't anything. Did we ever hear anything about that, Mr. Andrews?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I have not received anything at this time that we can check in the morning.
Well, we did get a response back.
We did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It was the response was a question. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I didn't bring it with me, but the response had something to do with special employee status, which most of Wareham doesn't have. So unless he was in a position to award contracts to his own company, he shouldn't. And road commissioners certainly don't do that. There's enough members on that board that even if he needed to, he could recuse himself from a vote.
Right.
But he can't. I mean, and let's remember back to what we're talking about. These are people who are going to determine street signs and paint and a stop sign, and they're not going to be giving out highway contracts or anything of that nature. And he did clarify to say that he doesn't do work in Wareham. The question was, would he bid on work in Wareham through his company? And naturally, he said yes, because he's in business.
Any other question?
No, I just wanted to say that the 2 points that were made in that email was that if it was dependent upon the duties of the road commissioners whether or not he would need a special and municipal employee status, which we do not have. However, because these are not a board, this isn't like a highway commissioner board that's going to go out with an RFP and award a bid. It's a board that is a group of people who are going to make recommendations for street signs and placement of things like that. So that was what the email said.
I understand. I remember when we had this conversation, and it was more about traffic policies, speed limits, signs, that kind of thing. And it's absolutely spelled out in the charter. But I just wanted to revisit it with the board.
Okay. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, if I could just be clear about my comment, we didn't receive any correspondence through Mr. Williamson that he received clearance from the Ethics Commissioner. I just want to make sure that that was clear. Not saying that he had to, but we didn't receive a letter from him saying that he did have clearance. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Mrs. Winslow?
I think we need to look back at that, because I believe what the email said was that he had spoken with the attorney of the day, and that the attorney of the day had asked him to get some clarification as to what the charter called for responsibilities, and in the event that it was X, he may need special employee status, and if it was not X, then he did not have a conflict. I'm pretty sure if we look back, that is what that email said.
So any other questions? If not, if it's been clarified? There was a motion made. I didn't hear a second.
I seconded it.
Mrs. Winslow? Hearing no other question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 5-0-0.
Mr. Williamson, are you here? Raise his hand? No. All right, Chief, I'll get you this packet, all right? And to further that,
Good luck with
and
this.
to wrap that piece of the conversation up, anyone who is interested, we still have one more position available for the road commissioners. And just a quick brief of history, this was approved at the last town meeting. Well, we can't do that tonight, can we?
I have one other thing. Mr. Clerk.
Ex officio members, no, we can't do it, but that's all right. The chief
Okay,
can take
speaking
care
on
of
the
it.
speaking on the board, we do have for the planning board, there's an opening for associate member. So if anyone is interested, to put it in, because they're looking to appoint it, I think, next month. So that's for associate member for the planning board. Thank you.
And we also have I was going to mention that, and also we have an opening for membership on the Affordable Housing Trust Fund that just became available. So we can consider those two postings. Anybody else, real quick, on any other openings on your boards that you want to mention right now while we got everybody's attention?
Well, we know that the library board of trustees, or the BOLT, is now full. But can you double check when you get your lists, the recycling committee? I thought that there had been 1 or 2 openings, and I don't ever recall. But I haven't seen a list in quite some time.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, that'll take care of that consent agenda.
License and permits.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mrs. Begley. I'm sorry.
Well, we had the Board of Health on here, and I know some people were very concerned, thinking that this board was going to appoint this evening, and I don't think that was the intention. This board had made an appointment with Dr. Unger to do an interview. Also, Mrs. Irish had mentioned at the last Board of Health meeting that because Mr. Montero is a new member of the board, that she wanted to re-interview applicants with Mr. Montero present. And I believe they put that off until November, just so that this board is aware.
Okay, thank you very much.
We got a letter on that today, right?
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah, I think it was in the
From
latest
Mrs.
package that
Iris.
we received. The one we received tonight.
And Mr. Chairman, then I will speak for one more moment. And before the crazies start going crazy, the Board of Health is a very important board in this town. And although I don't want to say it's a special variation of the guideline, but we have Mrs. Irish, who is the chairperson. And as Mrs. Begley just alluded to, Mr. Montero, I think he's been on board for 1 meeting, right? And so she asked the Board of Selectmen, I won't read the whole letter, but she asked the Board of Selectmen for a little bit of lenience. We give the boards 30 days or 1 monthly meeting, and if they don't respond, we appoint. In light of the fact that she's fairly new in her job as the chairman, and Mr. Montero is a brand new member, and she did write a nice letter to the board today and stress her past references of associate members. But she would like the opportunity to interview with Mr. Montero those 5 or 6 people that we've interviewed a gazillion times already. So I think it's fair in this case. I don't think we're going that far outside the boundaries by allowing her to do that. It's a couple of weeks. When do they meet again? Tomorrow, right? So, I mean, we can bring this back up next week and finalize if you'd like. But I'd like to give her that opportunity to at least have an interview with the people.
I think on that memo she mentioned November, so we can do it at the third
Well,
week in November.
Appointments we can do any week
Right.
if we're ready. The interviews are done, and I mentioned it to the ladies this afternoon that it said I don't know, appointments, right? And I'm going to have them just put that on there as interviews and appointment session, because sometimes we do appointments, sometimes we don't. But we always do our interviews on the third Thursday. So I'll have them put that on as a permanent word, interview.
Plus,
So,
right,
so that there's no mix-up, Mr.
Right.
Chairman.
right now, if she's going to interview the past applicants, she needs to notify each and every one of them to give them all the fair shake.
Oh, I'm sure.
As far as I
I'm
know,
sure
there's
she'll
only
do
been
that.
one past applicant that's been notified.
But we
So-
don't need to bring all those people back before the Board of Selectmen, correct?
No, we don't, because we're
Team,
already interviewed.
Please, we don't need to
Thank
do that, right? We've already interviewed most of them 5
Amen.
times.
I-
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next up, we have an application for a Class 2 license by Kenneth Healy, doing business as AKJ Used Autos, 2234 Cranberry Highway, West Wareham, Mass. Under the provisions of Chapter 140. Mr. Healy, are you here? Come on up, sir, please. And if you get in that chair there and get right up close to the mic.
Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind to give us a brief.
One second. Motion to open the hearing?
I
We
don't
have to
think
do
it's-
that?
No.
We don't have to do that? Is this a hearing? It's under
It is a
hearing.
public hearing, yeah. I second that motion.
Motion made and second by Mrs. Begley. Second by Steve?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Open meeting is open, public meeting is open.
That's okay.
Mr. Healy, if you'd identify yourself and tell us what your plans are at 2234 Cranberry Highway, that'd be great.
Okay. First of all, thank you for taking the time to allow me to speak. I currently have a purchase and sales agreement on that property contingent on approval of the used car dealer's license. I currently have and retain a used car dealer's license in the town of Plymouth. I'll be relocating that business to 2234 Cranberry Highway if you guys see fit to give the license approval. I appeared before the Zoning Board of Appeals about 2 weeks ago to get the special permit approved because the property had the previous two owners had a used car license there, which was allowed to lapse, and the special permit thus lapsed with the license. So that's what brings me before you to see if I can get that license reapproved.
Where exactly on Cranberry Highway is this we're talking about?
It is the old D'Amata Brothers property, just past the courthouse, just before you get to the fork in the road with the convenience store and gas station.
Going towards Rochester on the right
Yes,
side?
yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. The previous two owners both had car dealerships there.
Yeah.
The most recent one evidently didn't come to fruition, put up signs, never actually did business, and it's been vacant for about 2 years.
All right.
Any question from the board?
Yeah, well, through you to Mr. Andrews. Mr. Andrews, do you know if the previous license was picked up when Miles did that inspection of licenses? Do we have that license back in our possession?
Mr. Chairman, I'd have to check that.
Could you double check that, Mark?
Sure thing.
Just to make sure we got it back. Because there were some that he found that had the license, but they weren't doing anything with it. And I think this is one of those properties that Mr. Healy's talking about.
I think on that was Foreign Auto Bodies.
It was
Foreign Autos.
Wareham Foreign Auto, owned by Steve Gorky, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And from what the town hall told me, the license was taken back by the town because he didn't man and staff the place and put vehicles on it.
So if everything goes true, when do you expect to open up?
Well, my purchase and sales agreement is through the end of October. If the license is approved, I believe the special permit 20-day wait ends on the 24th. I would be closing on the property on the 28th and plan on opening November 1st.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Winslow?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How many vehicles?
I requested a 30-car license based on the design and layout of the property with the plot plan with enough space for 30 used cars, customer parking and handicap parking in the front of the building, and employee parking in the back of the building.
So you want 30 used cars
I
or
have
30 parking spaces?
Well, I have space for 30 used cars, so I've requested a license for 30, but currently at this time I don't have the financial resources to staff it with 30, but that would be my goal.
And you plan to be open a regular schedule?
Yes. Yes. Currently, I'm open 7 days a week in Plymouth. When I'm not there, I'm at the auction. My daughter runs the dealership for me.
What type of hours are you?
Right now, I'm open Monday through Friday. If I get the license in Wareham, it'll be Monday through Friday, 9 to 9, Saturdays half day, and Sundays by appointment only.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, did the Chief of Police have any comment on this? We didn't get anything back from anybody at the police department, so since he's in the room, maybe he can just put him on the hot seat.
To answer that, I don't think I see his chief of police listed on the application right now, so
Well, no, but usually they send us over a memo that says, we don't have any objection or, something like that. We didn't get that, so that's why I'm asking.
any other question, Mr. Snyder?
Mr. Chairman, through you to Mr. Healy. Mr. Healy, the license in Plymouth, how long did you hold that license?
I've had the license, it'll be 5 years in January.
5 years. And how many cars was that for?
My current license is 12 cars.
Okay. And have you
Go ahead.
have you had other experiences? Is this your primary line of work?
This is now my primary line of work. My actual background and career is in consumer products. I have 30 years of consumer products industry. Cars are a hobby and something that I've always liked. And after several issues with economical downturns in the consumer products industry, I decided to give something a try that I enjoyed and started the used car lot working out of my house. I had a no-car license out of my house doing just wholesale and internet, and after 2 years moved that to my current location, which is in an industrial park in Plymouth, not on a main road, and I rent space. Last year I turned 175 cars out of an industrial park just using internet and electronic media to advertise my business. The next step in my growth is a piece of commercial space on a main road. I looked at this location in Wareham as well as one in Kingston and one in Plymouth. This one seemed to fit the goals that I have for my growth without overextending me, that I can continue to grow and be successful in this struggling economy.
And do you, Mr. Chairman, through you to Mr. Healy, do you, is it your intention to do repairs, et cetera?
No, I'm not a mechanic. I'm a marketing person. I sell vehicles. I help people to buy vehicles and source them. I don't do any mechanic work. Most of that will be outsourced either to someone within that area, hopefully the guy right next door, or someone in this area that can help me out with servicing and repairing the vehicles for me.
Thank you.
Mr. Begley?
It's nice to see that you're going to be expanding your business. So will you have any employees? It'll just be you and your daughter, or will you be having any employees? I plan to.
Ideally, I visualize that I'm going to have to hire at least 1 or 2 people. I mean, family business, is always nice to have the family, people you can trust and depend on, but my daughter goes to college full-time, so she's only available certain days, and I've already extended myself with what I currently have that I work every day. So the goal is going to be to find somebody locally that can maybe open in the morning till I get my son on the bus and get to work, or close in the afternoon or the evening so that I can be home at a reasonable hour at least once or twice a week. But, it's really going to depend on the volume, but at least 1 person, possibly 2.
And all the vehicles that you have in your current location have all been in running order.
Every vehicle is fully serviced before I sell it. I take a little different approach to used car sales than most car salesmen. I put the money into them before I sell them. I don't wait till I have an agreement and then run it through the shop and service it. They all come with a full warranty. I have phenomenal reviews on the car dealer websites, reviews from outside customers. I haven't had one incident with the Attorney General or with any consumer complaints against me. I back my vehicles with a warranty as required by law, and in addition to that, offer an extended warranty to each and every one of my customers if they want it on any vehicle that they buy from me.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Healy.
Mr. Holmes, do you have anything?
No, outstanding. I think that, we talked about used car licenses a little while back, so I'm glad to see that Mr. Healy is stepping forward, and as he states, he's looking probably to hire 1 or 2 people. He's going to farm out his mechanics work, which is going to make the guy next door and down the street a little bit busy. Maybe he'll hire somebody, the local pot shops, the sticker places, the tire places, the muffler places. They'll all see a huge increase piece of business thanks to his marketing skills. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking effort to come and locate in Wareham, and you do have a fine mechanic shop right next door and another one down the street, so you do have close proximity to good mechanics. So I appreciate that. Down, any more questions from the board? Anything from the public? For or against?
That's my biggest fan.
That ain't your wife. A motion to close the hearing?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Make a motion that we grant an application for a Class 2 license by Kenneth Healy, doing business as AKJ Used Autos 2234 Cranberry Highway, West Wareham, under the provisions of Chapter 140 of Mass General Law.
Second.
Motion made, motion second by Mr. Snyder.
Mr. Cruz, Mr. Chair,
Question.
I just have a question. How many of these licenses are currently available?
So you recall, I think we upped it, so.
But we did one,
I want to say there are at least 4.
and we have one available that can accommodate the 30 vehicles that he's looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Congratulations and good luck.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
you.
Now, on picking that up, I have a question for the board. We'll have to redo the license up again, and we'll sign it, come in and sign it, and we'll be ready to go.
I thought you were going to ask him to buy a car.
No, not already. I just got one, so a year ago.
Next, we have an application for a one-day all-alcoholic beverages licensed by Lauren Breton. Mrs. Breton, are you here? All right, come on up. Don't be afraid. We do it all the time. It's no big deal. Just get up close.
Thank you.
This is for a wedding to be held on November 11th, 2011, 19 Bay Point Drive, Bay Point Country Club in Onset. This is at the Pavilion location. And I would so move that motion under Chapter 138 of the Mass General Law.
Second.
Motion made, second by Mrs. Winslow. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, just
Mr.
one
Snyder?
question. On the name of person in charge of the event, it says Donna M.
Oh.
Full name. Thank you.
Any other questions? Motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
500. Thank you very
The
much.
public, I take it the public's not invited, right? Because there was no invitation to the public?
No.
Oh, okay. Congratulations. Good
That
luck.
was a quick answer.
Next, you have the town administrator's report.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the members of the board and listening public, I want to update the board with regards to the search for our town accountant, and please be advised that we have activated the screening committee. They're going to meet on Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m. The cutoff date for this current round was Friday, October 14th. And I've asked John Foster to chair the committee, the treasurer collector, along with members Ellen Begley from the Board of Selectmen, Samuel Gray from the Finance Committee, and Anna Miranda from the Wareham Public Schools, and I'll keep you posted as to how that process unfolds.
Just one quick question, Mr. Cruz. I got an email, Mr. Andrews, was that changed? I got an email about 1:30.
Was it 1:30? Okay. I had written down 2, but
Don't be changing it on
go
us.
by 1:30.
So it's at 1:30.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just one question. Do we have a good pool of applicants this round, Mr. Andrews?
Mr. Chairman, a little bit less than what we expected, because just about every city or town that's looking for a town accountant's been out there for several months, and we are working very hard to try to find the best possible candidate that could fit the bill, and I'm going to leave the committee to work the resumes at this point and find out where they stand on this, hopefully by the end of the week.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Snyder. Mr. Chairman, item B, I wanted to bring the board up to speed in the packet tonight, or actually I should say in the bin tonight, were design plans for the beautification of the Wareham Commercial District as developed by CETA. I see the chairwoman in the audience. I want to thank her and Mr. Peter Sanborn, along with Mark Gifford and Town Planner John Charbonneau for participating in this event. Also, Brendan Ahern from TD Bank for his hosting the event. A number of business owners and concerned citizens attended this event, which was held on October 5th. We now have a signed contract. I've signed that contract to move forward with the firm of Pavao Inc. Out of Rehoboth. Rehoboth, excuse me, and the plans are on file in the Selectman's office if you so choose to look at them, and working with the CETA board will be hopefully moving forward towards the end of the month with the actual implementation of the streetscape improvement program. Also, I want to recognize Jackie Lindsay, who was there as well, for her work and reaching out to businesses in the downtown Wareham Commercial District. Mr. Chairman, on item number C, I just wanted to, this kind of slipped through, if you will, but it was an important event. It's an evening event, and I know, Mr. Chairman, you were there. Open Space Committee, we heard a fair amount of information on September 29th about municipal open space, and that seminar was held in the cafeteria at Town Hall. A presentation was made by the Wareham Land Trust, and it enlightened us on various topics relative to open space and projection of techniques and economic benefits. I've asked the group to come back at a future time to present to our leadership team on a Wednesday of their choosing. I just wanted to keep the board up to speed with regards to that activity. I want to reiterate, and if I can lend in and put a little bit of a color into the hue, we've been working with Mr. Bob White and the rest of the Veterans Day Parade Committee on a couple of activities. I just want to mention to you, Mr. White presented to the leadership team several weeks back, and we're working to assist him because there's a lot of mechanics that go into this type of event. I also want to commend municipal maintenance, particularly Mr. Frank Bergamasco and his team with working to get, if you recall, several years back, the veterans boards in the foyer of Town Hall were taken down for some renovation and stored off-site. We got them back on site. We intend to get them up for this important event coming up. I think that's important, and I want to thank Frank Bergamasco and the entire team for helping out with that. Item E, I was surprised and also delighted to attend the Minot Forest reading program in the evening with the PTA, along with Selectwoman Begley. There were a fair amount of games going on and a little bit of reading, but I want to thank Kyle and Tim and the entire group that worked with me that night, and I'm hopeful to go back in the very near future. Mr. Chairman, just on safety issues, we continue to work on safety issues regarding the Deacon School, and as an ongoing project, working 2+2 with the school district. Also want to let you know that much of the equipment is in for the virtualization computer project of program for Town Hall. The kickoff date is this Monday. It just happens to coincide with town meeting, but it's an important program whereby we're modernizing the entire system, connecting the police department with Town Hall and other buildings, and that kickoff is set for Monday, October 24th, for your edification. And I'm going to ask the implementation team to come in and to present to the board, because you will see some very modern equipment that will help us get our standards up and be able to meet a lot of expectations for the future. I also wanted to update the board and the listening audience that if you looked across out the windows to my left and your right, you will have seen our town auditors working very hard from Powers and Sullivan to wrap up the fiscal 2010 and 2011 audit. They will get to us, hopefully, some form of report, if not a communication, in hopefully the coming week. I will keep the board apprised of that. I've been in touch with them on a daily basis, and they're wrapping pretty much up that report. And as you know, have to report back to the Board of Selectmen, as we have done in the past, hopefully jointly with the Finance Committee. And I will be working with Chairman Heath on a couple of dates that will be coming up with regard to the audit and the conclusion of the fiscal 2010 and 2011 audit. You will see tonight on the town business, Mr. Sullivan will present for us an update on what's going on in fiscal 2012, because we are paying our bills, we're making payroll, we're paying all our vendor bills, and he has a report that will give you, that you have been sent to you. We'll give you some of the highlights a little bit later on the town business. I'm happy to answer any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any question from the board? Mrs. Winslow?
Mr. Chair, thank you. I have two questions. The first is, on the vacant positions, can we keep a tally of all the vacant positions? Because when I looked back, we had been having interviews for a local building inspector, but I don't think I ever saw an appointment letter, unless I missed something. But it fell off the leadership team update, so I wasn't sure. And then I did see some denial letters for another position in the assessor's office, but it's just confusing. It would be easier if we had, town accountant, clerk for treasurer's, so we knew what the status was on each open position.
Mr. Chairman, I could answer the question, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm happy to provide that for you, and the leadership team agenda is the executive summary, but if you wanted a section by section, we're happy to do that. If you recall, just on that denial letter, we had hired Gary Meisner as the Assistant Director of Assessment. So once that process closed down, we will send out letters to the applicants that obviously had stated their interest and perhaps attended an interview. But I'm happy to give you a complete breakdown of that, Madam Chair.
Yeah, and I understand that, but when something falls off it, then I guess I'm assuming that the position's been filled, and I must have missed something. So it would be easier if we, interviews conducted, award of job pending, or, whatever, but just so we have an idea of where these things stand. The second question, and this is just a question, and I'm not really sure how to go about addressing it, if we may need an agenda item with town council, but when a place like Walmart comes into town, we have these long discussions about mitigation and resources and things like that. We had the situation with the residents on Lynn Road who came to us because the Fellowship Health opened a respite home at number 7 Lynn Road. That home, as we know, the residents appealed this. Their appeal was denied, and the home opened sometime last week. With only one client in the home, there was an incident with that client that required a response of the police. The client, was having an issue, and the residents were very disturbed by the activity. So I'm not sure how we can assist these folks. I mean, some stuff we can't do anything about. They're looking for door-to-door bus pickup or something like that. That's the school department issue. But if there's any way that we can assist them with being a little bit more comfortable in their neighborhood now that the home is open, it would be nice if we could work towards that. And I'm not sure why in a situation like this there's no real open discussion with the provider about how they're going to work to mitigate the issues that could come about. With, like we do with any business that, wants to come to town. So I'm not looking to have a discussion on it. I'd like to know how we, as town leaders, can work to address these sensitive issues with the local residents.
Mr. Town Administrator, do you want to answer, or you want me to?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, you may harken back. We did have representatives of the association in to talk with members of the State Department that oversees these operations, and I thought that exchange of information was important early on in the process. And so if there's a need to facilitate additional connection, I'm happy to try to do that.
Well, and Mr. Chair, through you to the town administrator, I would appreciate that, because I asked a question of the representative from the Department of Mental Health, and that gentleman assured me that every client that went into that home would be personally approved through him, and that there would be no client going into that home that would be of any type of issue. And anybody who had a police scanner knew what was going on down there that day. So there was an issue, and it was a serious issue, and I think that, yes, we need to have some more open communication about this. This is a cluster development. These homes are right on top of each other with a number of small children. We need to. I get the whole situation, but the folks who live there, we have to think about everybody. So that would be great if we could facilitate some more discussion on it.
And to elaborate on that a little bit, we did have a procedure, and they do have a procedure, and if there's anything that goes astray, they need to follow protocol like everyone else. They need to get in touch with the police department, so to be on record. and they do have a policy about how they go about it. So for us to intervene before we have our town department heads to do their job, I think it's it's good that we have the interest. But for us to intervene and make a big item out of it until we get all the information, I think it's wrong. So we should leave the chief and town administrator do their job, and then if they don't do it, then we'll have to go from there. That's why we have the lawyers on board. Mr. Holmes, I see your shop.
Well, I didn't know that's where you were going. Certainly, I'm in favor, I don't have all the details, but there was a serious incident there, and they called the police. Now, I understand the fire is the district thing. I'll try to work with those folks over there as well. But, these calls are going to Rick's office, police department. So the chief obviously knows or gets, and if he's not being notified on every call on that home, maybe he could be, and then he could make the board of selectmen needs to be aware of this, folks. Chief going to the town administrator is one thing, but we are the overseers in this town, and it's not day to day to make us aware of a situation that is potentially dangerous. We should be aware of what's going on out there, or anywhere for that fact. The chief sends out if there's a shooting, if there's an accident, or God forbid someone get killed. He sends an issue to the town administrator. Town administrator makes the board aware of it, or Rick will send an email to the board. And I'd be comfortable at this point if we could do that and just let him make us aware of the situations, so we're not getting bombarded with phone calls over these incidents. And then I think if he is having an issue, I don't want to tell him how to run his police department, but I think if he's getting several calls a week, then it's time for him and the town to sit down with Mr. White, who owns the property. If I don't think the Board of Selectmen need to get involved, but we do need to be made aware of so that we can show our concern to the citizens.
Right, Mr. Holmes, and I don't want to jump back on it, but the questions and the answers you gave right now, we're telling him how to run his business. He has a public information officer, and we do get the information. So when it's warranted for him to step forward, I think that he will.
I'm not, Mr. Chairman.
No.
Excuse me. I
No,
wasn't
excuse me,
telling
excuse me.
anybody how to run their
No,
business.
excuse me.
I was just asking.
He has, Mr. Holmes, please.
I said, Mr.
I have
Chair.
the floor, and I haven't given it up.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll wait till you're done.
And thank you. I appreciate that. We have people in positions that know their job. When the people start calling us, we need to instruct them the chain of command to go through. They're coming to the selectmen when there's anything. Go to the municipal maintenance department. Go to them a couple of times. When you don't get a result, go to Mr. Andrews. The same thing with the chief of police. If you have a problem, call. Have it on record. Because all we're getting now is hearsay, or we heard it over the radio. If it's substantiated enough, the chief will let us know, and then if he doesn't react, then we go to Mr. Andrews to react on the situation. Now, Mr. Holmes?
Well, you just did what I just did. That's exactly what I said.
No, I'm not
you
instructing them how to do
I
their
have
job.
the floor?
Yes, go
Right,
ahead.
okay. You just said exactly what I said, and I'm just asking the chief, if something happens there, just like he does in every other situation, that the board gets an email or some notification so we're aware of it. I'm not asking him to do anything about it. I'm not saying we should do it. All I'm saying is I'd like to have that notification if there's an issue, and I believe it was serious, and we should know about it.
Gentlemen,
Make us aware.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
can I just clarify this actually, it's my understanding the police department did an exceptional job in this situation. This is not about the police department. It's not about their response. I'm talking about the residents and anything that we can do to facilitate some communication so that we can ensure a positive outcome here. Because we're talking about a very small development. We're talking about a cluster development. We're talking about people's lives have been impacted. We're also talking about clients who are coming to a home, and that environment should be positive and stable and welcoming for them. So all I'm asking is if it's possible for us to work together to try and develop, you know, some level of communication and try and address some of the concerns of the residents. However we can do that, I do think as leaders, especially in that we don't have anything like this right now in a cluster development, and perhaps it will be a good roadmap for the future, because, you know, we will probably see many more of these types of things in residential neighborhoods.
Well, I think we have the right people in the right positions to take care of any situations that come up. And if they can't do it, then we're in dire strait. So with this, can we move on?
Yeah, one more question, Mr. Chairman. When we were at the Y, remember we had those meetings at the Y with Fellowship and all those folks? I thought part of one of those gentlemen spoke about they had some kind of monthly outreach meetings with the neighborhoods. You remember that? Mr. Stein, you remember that? They talked about, wasn't Jeff White or any of that, it was the guy down this end of the table, where you walked into the room. I thought they said they had like a monthly outreach meeting with the local neighbors if there were any issues, and you don't remember that?
Well, Mr. Holmes, if they do have it, it should be on their operational procedures.
Right.
So if you want to check it out, and if they aren't adhering to it, then we have the same process as everybody else. We can go to Mr. Andrews and make sure if you present it to him or if he checks it out. If they're not adhering to it, then we have legal
Mrs. Begley.
Yeah.
You were at the Y. Did you hear my question?
Right, they do have a policy, but what I'm saying, instead of discussing it now, we don't have it here, check on the internet, check their policies for running an establishment, and if it does say once a month, then that's what they need to do, is go once a month. Then we have something to go by. But right now, we're speculating, or we're saying we heard it, but we need to check it out.
I don't think it was a formal thing, Walter. I think they just had like a monthly meeting with an outreach into the neighborhood. You know.
Mr. Chairman, if I may just comment
Snyder.
briefly. I think that it is a good idea for Fellowship to be reaching out to the community, and I don't know if that dialogue is going on. This is actually the first I've heard of this incident, Selectman Holmes. But what I would say is this, you know,
And not to interrupt you, Mr. Chairman, but that's my point, Mr. Schneider.
Yeah, excuse me, but he did have the floor. Not to interrupt, but you did, Mr. Snyder.
I'm sorry.
I think that, you know, I think that it's incumbent upon any neighbor to reach out to another neighbor, and in this case, the neighbor being Fellowship, to make sure that, you know, the quality of life in the neighborhood is being maintained to a reasonable level. But I also want to point out that although we don't have purview over the state, we do have bylaws and laws of the town that everybody is required to follow. And if the rules are not being followed, then the proper channels are to go through the specific town departments, as Mr. Cruz has said, so that you know, if there is major issues, that they can be addressed through the proper channels. And I just want to reiterate that. But I do think, you know, I'm hoping that Fellowship is reaching out, and I'm hoping that the residents in that area are also reaching out to Fellowship to try and, you know, mitigate any impacts that may be occurring as a result of the excess traffic, parking, et cetera, that might be occurring there.
Thank you very much. Anything else for the town administrator?
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Got any other questions, town business?
Do you have a proclamation?
I don't think we, do we
Right
have?
here. Mr. Chairman, if you would just indulge me, just so I can set a little background here.
Yes, go ahead.
We received the correspondence from an Andrea Amaral regarding a woman who had received the Bank 5 Hometown Hero Award. Along with Chairman Cruz and myself, we drafted a proclamation that was going to be presented this coming Thursday, and they've changed the date, but if you would be so kind, Mr. Clerk, through Mr. Chairman, to inform the public, we're proud of this woman who had done yeoman's work in providing a ton of volunteerism for town food pantries, and she had been selected by Bank 5. Sorry. Too many folders. Go ahead.
Bank 5.
Mr. Chair, is she here tonight? Was she notified?
Yeah, I think it's health issues, but anyways, we can continue. So you finished, Mr. Town Administrator?
All set, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Did you want me to read this real quick?
Yeah, go
Walter?
ahead. Sure, sounds like a winner.
This is from the town of Wareham to Rosemary Lackey. It's for the Bank 5 Hometown Heroine Citation Award. And it reads, and this is being issued 10/20. It looks like a Damien's Pantry. Whereas Rosemary Lackey has attained the Bank 5 Hometown Heroine 2011 Award. The Hometown Heroine program was established in 1993 by Bank 5 as a means of recognizing community leaders. Whereas Rosemary Lackey has demonstrated a keen sense for volunteerism, augmented with selfless hours of dedication service to Damien's Place Food Pantry of East Wareham. Whereas Rosemary Lackey has exhibited exceptional volunteerism by running Damien's Place and serving families in need from the town of Wareham. Whereas Rosemary Lackey is truly an inspirational leader that has positively impacted the lives of thousands of individuals in need. It is in witness, therefore, we, the Wareham BoS Selectmen, have hereunto set our hands and caused the official seal of the town of Wareham to be affixed on this 18th day, actually on the 20th day of October 2011, signed by all of the chairmen, all of the Board of Selectmen. And I think it says in here, I'm sure she won't chase me down the street, but I believe it says that she is still an active volunteer at the bright young age of 84. So, to Mrs. Lackey, a round of applause. And this will be in our signature box. Next up, Mr. Chairman, we have the CETA recommendations of Bay Point Country Club. Someone from CETA going to...
I did. Shirley had called me, first of all, Jean Connaughton, chairman of CETA. Shirley had called on Friday afternoon and asked me to come in, and I said that I don't have the information that you would like to hear this evening, but she suggested I come in anyway. So here I am.
That was last week.
It was supposed to be last week, but I did notify Chairman Cruz and the town administrator that once I returned home after I agreed that we could hold a meeting and try to sign that contract, there was another email from our attorney which prompted some questions. And so we have had him draft a letter to DCU's attorney, and we have not received the response yet. Our attorney has been back and forth with them again today, and we hope to have an answer by the end of the week.
Well,
Once those answers are in place, we'll post a meeting and have a meeting within a couple of days. Our intention would be to extend the lease, but we want to do due diligence on all of the background information first.
Well, then, at this point, I would just make a motion to table this issue until the same time we have our issue. What is it, November 7th, I believe, from last week. We were making sure town meeting was over.
Yeah, I think we had it set up for the day, the first
Was
day
it, or is it the
this week.
first? I
Right,
can't
the
see that.
25th.
That
I
far,
think
is
it was November 8th.
November 8th?
Yes.
Is that okay, Mrs. Connaughton? You think you can get all the pieces together?
hope
That'll
so.
give you plenty of time.
I hope so.
And
I'm
we can
really not sure why it's taken them so long. I thought it was pretty simple questions, but
Okay.
it seems to be taking time.
So I make a motion that we table this until the 8th of November.
Now, we
Second.
are going to vote on it if everything goes at town meeting, considering Bay Point the day after, well, it'll be the Tuesday if everything comes by the drawing on
All right, November 1st. What? I'm trying to
November
pick the
7th.
same night. Mrs. Winslow had just said the 8th. I can't see that calendar down there.
It would, if the town, it depends on how long town meeting goes.
But,
If town meeting goes,
but I don't think what they have to report back to us, has anything to do technically with the Bay Point, because they have a perpetual lease going on, no matter who owns it. So if we own it, then, I guess we own the lease too, but
So you say
we're not
there's-
paying ourselves, but if whoever owns it has to go, it's a perpetual lease, so.
Well, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
CETA cannot, they need this board's approval to move forward. So
I think so.
as the Board of Selectmen, I think you do. We are the oversight of CETA.
I don't
if you're gonna
believe
enter into
regarding
a-
economic development and the lease of Bay Point, I believe that we have negotiated and signed that lease the last 3 or 4 times, and there's never been an issue.
So
I mean, I don't have a problem with sharing it with you, but
then why do we need
as
her
we've
to
heard
come
in the
back at
past.
all if that's
No.
the case?
Yeah, we just had asked for feedback on it. I think it was one of the board members wanting to come in, but it's almost like cast in stone. Whoever has it, they have to go with the lease.
as long as they provide us with the answers to the questions.
Right,
Correct,
whatever
so-
information that you need on your part.
Okay.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we don't need to come back together again. Then.
We'll send you an email as soon as we've
We
been able
appreciate
to
that.
complete the
Okay,
process.
thank you very much.
Okay?
Thanks, Mr. Naughton.
Chief, policies.
And Mr. Clerk, while you're
Please.
doing that, I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I already went over all the policies, so if I'm
You're
not
taking a
back in
break. What's that? You want to hey, bring me back a pizza, Walt, will you? All right. Chief, we have these policies. I think Mrs. Winslow had some questions when we last met.
I just really enjoy the quality time, Chief. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew that.
I know you did. My question is on the recruit field training program. The policy in the very first paragraph says the recruit shall serve a 1-year probationary period that begins on the first duty day after graduation from the Municipal Police Officer Training Academy. How does that figure into the union contract? And I know that it's gone to mediation, arbitration, something like that. I mean, is this a policy that we can put into place and actually?
Yes, that's civil service rules and regulations. We have 1 year to act on any employee from the date they graduate from the academy. So that is by Massachusetts civil service law.
Okay, but there's nothing in the collective bargaining agreement that's going to pose a problem.
Absolutely not.
All right. I really wanted to be sure on that. The other question that I had, and of course I didn't tag it, but on the organizational structure, how do the 3 lieutenants fit into the organizational structure? Like, I know that we have one lieutenant who's kind of the operations, public information type of person, but are the other 2 just? I mean, does everybody get? I guess I was confused because it's not like a chart, simple minds.
It's broken down in there. I'd need a specific question if you have a specific question.
Well, I guess what my question is that when I read through them, some of them are civilian positions, which I understand. So the division commander is a sergeant.
Negative, lieutenant. Division commander is lieutenant.
It says in the policy the CID, or is there a difference between the CID commander and the?
That particular spot has always been a sergeant. That's a sergeant running that division, correct?
But that falls under the division commander,
He
or?
is a division commander, correct?
I'm
Right.
sorry.
He runs that division.
Okay, so the CID commander falls under the division commander.
He is actually a sergeant, right? But we have 2 lieutenants, one in charge of administration, one in charge of operations.
Okay, we have 3 lieutenants.
We have 3 lieutenants, correct?
Right. So
Mr. Winslow, if I might, there are charts in the back.
there
Are you
are.
referring to the charts?
Multiple pages that describe each division, and
I probably just missed one. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Schneider? Any questions? Mrs. Begley? Mr. Cruz, do you have any questions on the policies? If we could have a motion to accept the two sets of policies.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Our next is Mr. Sullivan to give us the wrong Sullivan now with the yellow tie, gold.
Mr. Chairman, if I could,
On July and
Mr. Sullivan,
Town Administrator?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sullivan has an executive summary for both July and August, and we'll work through that and we'll answer any questions you might have. As I indicated in my town administrator's report, the town is functioning. We're making all of the payments that we need to make, collecting the revenue that we need to collect, and this report goes back to, Derek, what's the date on the actual report?
That we sent these
Sent it
out
to
was
the
on
board.
October 5th, was the first
October
report.
5th. So we can, we wanted to give you the most recent update. I'll turn it over to Mr. Sullivan.
Good evening. We'll start with the October 5th memo, which deals with FY12 July's expenditures and revenue reports. What you have handed out is actually updated versus what you've received electronically, so that is the most up-to-date one. And so that there's no confusion, I'll send these electronically to you as well. And the update in there was not the expenditures, but it was actually the budgets in there. So mainly, when we're going through this, what I've done here is any variances, such as the selectmen expenses, I tried to break those out so you'd see what the reason was behind them. Such as the first one, $5,000 was paid out of the selectmen's budget rather than the general services postage account. So therefore, your selectmen's expenses budget would look higher than it should be for that year to date. Other places, their service contracts get paid at the beginning of the fiscal year, so it would look like you're higher than if you had broken out during a 12-month period. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to look through these yet or had specific questions.
That would be me. Mr. Chair.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Karen, yeah. I knew you would you'd go through it quick.
I'm confused over I understand that we put aside the money for vision appraisals, but why didn't that money end up in the budget? Or is it somewhere in the budget that it doesn't belong? How we allocated that money in Springtown meeting.
For the
Mr. Chairman, if I could, that was done through an article, so the articles will catch up with the budget, if you will. We are working, in fact, Vision Appraisals is winding up its work on the recap, or I should say the recertification of the triannual reevaluation, so it will catch up with the process. Member Winslow.
If I may, the best way to explain this is you have, with the VADAR system, you have the general ledger account, which when you put the numbers in there, automatically updates. This report is actually a special report, which you physically, the people in VADAR have to go in there and tell it what to bring over. So it needs constant maintenance. So in order to get that over, we have Ted from VADAR putting in there, writing the code to get that, to bring that number over. That's not something that I can really do any adjustment on.
I understand that, but I guess I'm just confused as to when that money shows up. If the money was set aside for a specific purpose, it's encumbered, correct?
Yes. Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, through you. The money was set aside, $152,000 for a contract that we initiated with Vision Appraisals. That money will wind up being paid totally under that contract. The first payment, I believe it was a progress payment, wound up in the expense budget for the assessor's office. So we will make that modification when the $152,000 is moved over.
But where is it?
it's in an article that is going to be accompanying the line items. These are the line items from the general ledger. The articles are not on the general ledger. We have to add them to the budget, to the assessor's budget.
So you're gonna, when you do this report, you're gonna pull that information over so that it comes out correct?
I'm going to have Ted from Vadar who's able to
Or
do
Ted,
those.
somebody's gonna make sure that that,
Yes.
okay, all right.
If I could use another example just for the edification of the board. Mr. Sullivan and I worked with Deb from accounting. If you look at number 2, we purchased, bulk purchase copy paper, which is very volatile. So when you can get it for $25 per case, you buy it at $25 a case, and that's what we did. We will now apportion that back to the individual departments that are part of that. I believe the school district might have taken, I think it was 25 cases. The administration took 10 cases. So the administration used itself as a hub to get that purchase completed. And as what Mr. Sullivan is saying here in item number 2, that we will be working with the accounting office to make the chargebacks, if you will, internally to the departments.
Well, that part, Mr. Chair, through you, I get that part. I just was, wondering when that $152,000 was going to move from wherever it's living to the report. But the other question that I have, and perhaps this has been explained to me in the past, and I just don't recall, but the retirement payment that we're paying to the Laborers International Union of North America, what is that, and why are we paying this directly to the union? How does that impact our responsibility to pay their retirement, our retirement obligation to them?
Mr. Chairman, there is a federal statute that requires, and it is in the collective bargaining agreements, I believe it's a penny on every dollar paid through the collective bargaining agreement, and that penny in the years past had not been captured, and what we've done in fiscal 2012 is capture it for the sum of, the sum is on here, Derek.
It's about
Nine-
$30,000.
About $30,000. So
It says 98,000.
I believe the one fiscal year is close to $30,000.
It's $30,000 on there.
So we have to pay that through a federal statute that is reflected in our collective bargaining agreements for the so-called Laborers International Union of North America.
So do we have to do that for all the unions?
That's correct.
So where's the rest of the money
Well-
for?
All the unions that participate in the Laborers International Union of North America.
So the police union
They're
and
not
the steel workers are not inclusive in
You are
this?
correct. No,
It's just this one special union?
that's correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Through you to Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Sullivan, this is, we're looking at July's and August report. I'm working off my old sheets here.
Okay.
And I do have some notes that I was just, first I do want to say thank you though for putting this together because it is helpful. But I understand, we're trying to put together, we're really trying to break the budget down into a 12-month period, right?
Right, that's the...
And it's very difficult to do in this situation because we encumber all of the money at the beginning of the year. And you don't necessarily know when certain items are going to hit the budget. Is that correct?
And that's one of the things that we're trying to, for the future, you'll see, especially on the revenue one, to start getting more of a historical chart on there so that we know when they're going to hit, so we can predict that better. And that's one of the big things we want to do with this.
And that's what the intent of this report, ultimately, the goal of this report is to do.
Ultimately, to keep everybody advised, also so that each department also knows where they stand so that they can be proactive instead of reactive on managing their own budgets, and so that everybody is kept advised of where things stand.
So, just for example, one of the things that I was a little curious about is when I look at certain items, I see open PO with a negative amount. Does that mean that we've actually encumbered that money, but it hasn't hit our balance yet? We have outstanding bills that need to be paid in that amount?
That'd be a purchase order, yes, that's open.
Okay. And when I go to page 7 for medical insurance, and we have a budget of $4.1 million in round numbers. but we don't have any expenditures or an encumbered balance, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that, any open POs. What is the reason for that? I would expect that we would be receiving health insurance bills on a regular basis.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, the health insurance bills come in on a monthly basis, but there's a quarterly credit and debit that we work off of to make certain that we have the appropriate and final numbers before we actually pay them. So there's a little bit of a lag period in terms of paying them, and that's to protect the town so we don't overpay.
Okay, so they haven't hit the GL yet.
You are correct, Mr. Shine.
Okay, and do we expect that they would hit the GL for the next reporting period, September?
Yes, for the next quarter, for the
Next quarter.
first quarter ended.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Andrews. Thank you, Derek.
Thanks, Derek.
Mr. Derek, I want...
Let me know what color next week, brother. I have a closet full.
I'm getting some new ties after tonight.
I have a closet full.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just take one moment. We are very proud to have Derek on board with us. He's been working very hard in a number of areas.
Some of you understand.
And he's also a Suffolk University graduate, graduate, I should say. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is Mr. Dave Willis. And what are you going to need, about 5 minutes to set up? Okay, we're going to give him, why don't we give him 10 minutes?
Take a recess.
Take a we'll resume at 9 o'clock. Thank you. the meeting. Mr. Willis has the floor and the video equipment.
Did we want to wait for Mr. Andrews and Mr. Holmes to come back?
Well, I hope they're back. We gave them enough time. If you want
I
them in,
think
we'll see.
Mr. Andrews especially needs to see this.
You look fabulous tonight, David.
Oh, thank you. I figured I'd...
Could we maybe page Mr. Andrews? Mr. Andrews, paging Mr. Andrews.
The meeting is now in progress.
All right, where's the... let me get that... where is it? That ain't it.
Oh. Well, and I have a cold, so it just makes it far worse.
Oh, yeah, who's doing that? Somebody? Yeah, a little more.
Mr. Chair, can I have that proclamation so I can... Thank you. So I hear the NyQuil calling my name.
There we go. What's this? Okay. Is the TV back on? It is. Wonderful. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Andrews, Mr. Cruz, and the board for having me here. It took a long time to get here, but I'm here. And at the same time, I'd like to thank Mr. Andrews for all his diligence and commitment to the efforts that I've been putting forth, because there has been noticeable change since we've been working together at this. I'd like to reintroduce myself. My name's David Willis from On Hannah's Lane in Onset. I've been here for 11 years. I bought a small cottage. I tore it down. I built a home. I built a plumbing business, Onset Bay Plumbing and Heating. So part of my nature as a plumber, the plumber's creed is to protect the health of the nation. So it goes without saying that I'm trying to clean up the streets, parks, and beaches of Wareham. So here's just a piece of the mission statement here, and then I want to show the video. This is about starting a conversation with key department officials, municipal maintenance, Board of Health, police, school department, and the Board of Selectmen to bring about positive change to our current policies. We need to find the resources necessary to ensure our trash receptacles have proper covers and are emptied on a regular basis. To address attitudes and policies that will result in firm long-term solutions to the problem and change levels of acceptance to zero tolerance for littering our streets, parks, and beaches. So with that, I'm going to show you a 5-minute slideshow of what I feel is a chronic problem, which speaks to not just littering. It speaks to littering. It speaks to our inability to collect trash that is put either on, in, near, around trash barrels in a timely fashion. It speaks to roadkill and how quickly we remove it safely and dispose it properly from the road. And what we're speaking to, and I don't know if you were supposed to get the handout from Shirley, the broken windows theory, which, if you read the theoretical explanation of the broken windows theory, speaks to how people behave. And basically, in a nutshell, if you allow people to litter and you don't clean up the streets, they're going to litter even more. And it also speaks to keeping the town clean, recently we tore down the building on Main Street, which was wonderful. Get rid of the eyesore, and there's many more that need to go. But that's part of it. If we keep it clean, keep the buildings torn down, pick up the litter, the cigarette butts, weed and brush back, cut the sidewalks, because we're all in this together. As a town and residents, what I'm asking you is to meet us halfway. We've got a lot of volunteers. You spoke of volunteerism tonight. Rosemary Lackey's my sister's mother-in-law. I've known her for my whole life. And to one volunteer to another, you know, it's good for her. But so you speak of volunteerism. So what my thing has been, we had the first townwide ever litter cleanup, first townwide beach cleanup ever from Gary Buckminster this year. So I'm trying to piggyback the volunteer efforts by showing how bad the problems are and asking the town to continue to, stay vigilant and committed, but meet the residents and the volunteers halfway, because we can't do it alone. Okay? So with that said, here we go. And here are some solution options.
Thank you very much. And you want to make any? This is your show.
Oh,
That's my grandson.
very cute.
He's on TV now.
Right.
That's a good way to top off the show.
So So anyway, that's a lot of years' work. And it's only because I care about where I live, you know. And not everybody gets a chance to see that. But part of what we need to do, and it's not all going to happen here tonight, I'm asking you guys to form a committee to look at all these things, because one person, myself, and a few volunteers don't have all the answers. We don't. And we need to know how to move forward. We need to work with CETA. We need to work with people that have bigger brains than myself. I brought this to you. I want to be part of it, but I definitely don't have all the answers, you know. But, you know, it's like I said last time I was here. It's like the shark in Jaws that threatened the economy of Amity Island. The trash is definitely a threat to our vital economy here. We want to invite people. You're talking about revitalizing Main Street, Wareham. I hope we can keep it clean when they do it. You know, let's work at that. You know what I mean? Barrels, covers. You know we need covers on the barrels because the birds, I've proved the birds get in it, throw it on the ground, then the skunks get in it. So we got to nip this in the bud. We got to get covers on the barrels. And I've even offered to the town administrator let's do a fundraiser. Let's find out what they cost, how many we need. You know, I'm pretty sure Gary Buckminster inventoried the steel drum barrels, and you saw there was an option in there, just a steel drum barrel, nice and clean, with a cover on it to secure the trash. And if you notice in the second video, it showed plenty of trash barrels. I didn't see any trash all around it and on the ground. But I didn't plan it that way. Just you go to other towns, other areas, they don't let it build up like that. Why? Because they care more about their community. So, you know, part of what I'd like to do is maybe like work a task force, like I put in the notes, with senior citizens, and maybe a program through the schools that works at community service. I know Mr. Rabinovich had said he likes his students to do some community service. So maybe part of what the committee could get involved with is getting some seniors, volunteers from certain groups to work together with the youth so that it's connected in that way, you know. Ideally moving towards like a tribe mentality. We need to take care of our own. Everybody has to work together and be sustainable. And the first video you saw, we're not sustaining our lifestyle. We're not. So we need to be sustainable. And what's it take to sustain that? I'm not saying throw money at it. It's not what I'm saying. But it's got to be part of it, right? We got to find some money somewhere. I'm not saying whack it on the town and tax the people. But there's an issue. And how do we move forward to remedy it?
I appreciate you coming forward, and it's an eye-opener. It'll wake everybody up. And one of your slides there says education is knowledge. And by putting this forward, it's going to educate the people. We take things for granted. So we all need to step up. And we have good department heads. I know you've been to a couple of leadership meetings, but everything's done a step at a time. And we're working on it, and I've been getting the emails you've been sending, and it looks like, you know, they are working with you or trying to straighten everything up. So I appreciate all the work everyone is doing. Everything is not done overnight. So I appreciate it, and I see Mrs. Winslow has her hand up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, thank you very much for the hard work. I've always been a great lover of the environment, and when I had my daughter and saw the world through my daughter's eyes, it really changes things for you. My daughter actually will look out the car window as we're driving and yell "litter bug" if somebody throws something out the window. She's a very good steward of her environment, and I'm very proud of her for that. I think that you have an awful lot of really good ideas, and I do think that the idea of establishing a committee is a good one, but we have to make sure that we establish that committee properly and that they have a real well-defined purpose and mission. In terms of some of the issues that you bring up, one of the things that I noticed, and this happened to me again the other day as I was driving down Route 6, I came from Mattapoisett, Fairhaven area, and I drove all the way down, and somewhere on the Mattapoisett-Marion line, I got behind a vehicle, and as soon as we got to the lights at Shaw's, they rolled down the window and they hurled all their Dunkin' Donuts trash out the window. We can care as much as we want about our community, but we can't stop people from driving through and not caring. And I thought a lot about that, Mr. Willis, after you were here the last time, is, what do we do about that? Because we are a resort community, and we get a lot of people who don't live here come here. And one of the things that I thought of, I looked up online, and everybody knows I love Disney World, and Disney has the Disney Institute. And one of the theories that Disney World has is that doesn't matter if you're a janitor or if you're the president and CEO of the company. If you walk through that park and you see trash, you need to pick it up. And I think that is one thing, especially with the lifeguards on the beaches and things like that. Maybe we, as leaders, need to kind of look and set those high expectations while people are working on the beaches on a regular basis. And we may also need to talk to the chief of police about enforcement. It's difficult when we have so many serious issues in the community, and littering is a serious issue. Don't get me wrong. This type of littering on the beach endangers our aquatic wildlife. I mean, when these birds get a hold of some of this stuff and they try and eat it, it kills them. It's very bad for them. But we do have many months ahead of us before we see the beaches fill up again. So I think we have a good amount of time to really work on at least a plan and a step in the right direction. I mean, we can't, necessarily get this done overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, but I definitely think that having some goals and working towards a long-term plan, and really kind of like we do with some of the things that the police do, the stings for the drinking and driving and the seatbelt things. I mean, maybe we need to be a little bit more vigilant on our beaches. And when people are coming into our community, it makes no sense to me why somebody who's pulling into Shaw's, where there's at least 3 garbage barrels right out in front of the store, has to roll down their window and hurl that trash out the window. Why they can't wait 45 seconds to throw it in a trash barrel. There's no need for that. It really it made me pretty mad.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
My brother-in-law's a retired police captain from Newton Police Force. And his answer is, because they can.
Well, exactly.
Because they get away with it.
But
so if you want people to know that littering's a crime, make it so. And that's just the harsh reality of it.
And I understand that, but by the time an officer gets to that location, depending upon where they are, that person is long gone.
Right.
And that's, that is one of the issues, obviously, that is difficult to overcome. But it was, I guess I'm telling this story more because it was the very blatant attitude of, I don't need to wait and throw my trash in a trash barrel. I'll just throw it right out the window. And that's what I was trying to point out. So, I'm on board with, getting some things put together. There is actually a good deal of, there was a good deal of grant money out there for some of these solar powered things. I don't believe that the town can actually fundraise for itself. That's why you have friends organizations and
Right. things
like that. So that's something you would need to, look into and establish. But and I think having a good environmental stewardship in the schools is important, because I think one of the reasons most of us care so much is because we see our children and our grandchildren, and we want them to have a good, healthy environment for their futures. So, anyways, that's the end of my long-winded spiel.
We'll go to each selectman if they want to. Let's try to keep it down a little bit. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Willis, I'd like to commend you. It's clear to me that you've put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into this. And from being from Mission Hill originally, I'm not sure if you're familiar with where that is, but it's in the heart of the Longwood Medical area.
Oh, sure.
I'm very familiar with the broken windows theory,
Correct.
and you're absolutely correct. And, I'm a firm believer that most people do take pride in their community, and I think that the residents of Wareham do. And unfortunately, we have an influx of people who come in and visit. And as Mrs. Winslow has said, unfortunately, they're more than willing to open up their car door up in Mission Hill, for example, and empty out their trash while they're sitting there parked waiting to go to one of the institutions up there. And it does start with education, and it starts with the community not tolerating it. And Mission Hill has been very successful in that process. And one of the things that has been done is, the City of Boston has, on an annual or a biannual basis, they also have city-sponsored neighborhood-wide cleanups, and hundreds of people participate.
City year?
City
City year is one of the
City year is
volunteers.
right, and before City year, though, there was always some sort of program in Boston, and I think that I think the last time you came before us, you had 400 or 500 signatures, so you already have a pool of people that I think
Most of them are volunteers.
working with the town is absolutely the cooperation between the town and the residents to keep our town clean and the quality of life up is essential. So I just like you're on the right path, and I'd like to commend you and the amount of work that
Thank
you've
you.
done.
Mr. Holmes?
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. David, great job.
Thank you.
I think you know that you and I have spoke for many hours over the last few years, and I am a firm believer that I think that I've been trying to think of a makeup. Watching your slide brought maybe some other ideas to mind, but I think I'd like to see somewhere where there's probably not one of us because we're elected, but it has to be a board, maybe someone from the town, like a Gary Buckminster team, maybe the chief, some local businesses down in the village, very similar to the road commissioners that we just set up.
Right.
And I think that, I was thinking, I know you're a musician. We both know plenty of musicians who would play for free on a Saturday afternoon for us. And call it Cleanup Day, Earth Day, whatever, right? And we could rake in a bunch of money through fundraising to outfit us with some of these utensils that you've uncovered. So, I think that you've done a great job. You brought the ball most of the way down the field, and I think if, as a Board of Selectmen, we could create a committee of some key people, key positions, and I'm not quite sure who that is, but I have some ideas. I think we can work together, as you say, and move that ball the rest of the way down the field. And there are ways that we can do some fundraising, because I'll tell you that we could hit some stuff over the winter, even get some cash built up by the spring. But there are plenty of organizations, the Onset Village Association. You have they have the new one. What's the name of the kids? Onset, Junior Onset. What's the name of
The Junior OBA, right? And
Junior
and
OBA, right?
That proposed to me yesterday.
Yeah, I know that they're a new group that's formed out there, and there are many others in the community. And so I think forming a committee is a great idea. But I did want to thank you for being persistent. I know we've been waiting to see this slideshow for about 6 weeks now, I think. So thank you.
Mrs. Bagley?
Mr. Wills, that it was moving. It was a wonderful presentation, and I wonder if you would consider bringing that presentation into the schools.
That's the plan, but this is the first stop.
Absolutely, and I remember when my nieces and nephews and my sons were in school, and at that there was I'm old enough that there was a period of time that it was acceptable for people just to throw their trash, which is has always been unacceptable to me. And I have a kinship with the woman that you have there on one of your pictures that has the plastic bag, because I don't have a jacket that doesn't have a plastic bag in it. Everywhere I go, I almost got killed at the canal riding my bike, trying to jump on trash as it was blowing down in front of me. And my husband will tell you that he's told me many times that I'll probably get shot when I yell at people who do throw things out of their car windows, and I beep at them and I honk at them, or I stop them in the store parking lot and tell them to pick it up. But I was on the beautification committee of the OBA many, many years ago. We first went to Dudley Brown with pickaxes to plant the first flowers. So we have made some progress, but certainly not enough. And I don't want to take anything away from the harbor master because we did have a very successful cleanup, but the onus is on the community as well, because is Gary still here? How many people were there, Gary? 10?
Yeah, actually 9.
There was 9 of us in the drizzly rain doing that beach cleanup. 9 of us.
I was one of them.
It was discouraging, but we didn't stop. And it's not the first ever, because there's a nationwide beach cleanup that they have annually that my husband and I have done many times. And I was always afraid because he would be down the beach and I'd see him start to run away, and I'd be like, oh, I don't want to see what he just found. Because you find really horrible, I'm waiting to find a body down there one day. But I think that all of these are good ideas, like forming a committee, but I think that the onus is on all of us. Every one of us has to be responsible for this. And where are the people, when I was a child, but my husband still does it, when he sweeps the walk, he sweeps the street in front of our house. So how do we get, and I think it's education, I think you're absolutely right, how do we get people to take pride in their community? Because even if we all went out there, or we woke up tomorrow morning and our entire community was pristine, it will not stay that way unless we educate everybody that lives in this community and visits this community. So my hat's off to you. I think you've done a marvelous job, and if I can help in any way,
Thank
I'm
you.
here.
But it still returns to the broken windows theory. So to say how are they going to stop littering, you're going to create an atmosphere. And if you read on the literature I gave
intolerable.
People study people in a group setting. It's proven sociology. That's why I brought it. So, of course, all the while the sidewalks aren't brushed back, cut, and they're growing over into the street, that's a nice place for litter to hide when you're driving down Minot Avenue. So one of the first things we got to do is brush back the brush so you can see the side of the road.
Well, if you
And then
notice,
you know,
by
I
the
mean-
stone bridge, there used to be rows of rogozas there, and they were removed because they would just grab onto that trash, and then, and I'm sure that my kindred spirit over there can attest that you get all kinds of scratches from those things trying to get the trash out of there.
Could I, while I'm here, acknowledge somebody that's in the audience? Rita Boulier needs a big round of applause, because this woman picks up about 10 miles of road every single day. And that's why she's in the video, because she's an absolute saint. And Onset looks the way it does because of her. Okay. And we need more volunteers like her.
Thank you very much, Mr. Town Administrator.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, and Dave, thank you for a powerful presentation. You're always welcome, as I know other members of your team, to come to our leadership team while this kind of process is taking hold, if you will. I just want to let people know that I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Mr. Gifford and Mr. Buckminster's work in clearing the bluffs to get at about 150 skunks to date that have been living in the bluffs. We got confirmation approval of that, last fall. So we've been working at this for over a year. It does take a lot of education, because people who are coming to festivals or movie night out are dropping things as they leave the event. And then guess what happens? The skunks come out, and we have other issues along those lines. I also just want to say is that you probably noticed, and I'll ask Gary to give a report next week, that we have found some additional funding through grants and other sources to change out, Gary, just about what, maybe?
Yeah, we're in the process of trying to possibly 12 sections, just confirmation.
The funding source, right. So that combined with, we repainted all of the barrels. We've actually put 10-yard dumpsters. We tried that out, as you know, one at Shell Point and one at the beach, Comer, to allow people actually think they're doing us a favor by bringing their trash alongside the barrel and dropping it down. And it's not a favor to us, okay? So if you take it to the 10-yard dumpster and put it in, we won't be picking up trash over the winter time. But one of the things that I want to say to you is that as I drive to work every day, I see ironing boards stuffed in our buckets. I see our renters' disposals. In fact, I thought I stopped one day, Rita in here, making her way around the beach, rolled my window down and just asked her, what are you doing putting your trash into my trash bucket? And she indicated that she was helping us out and had been for many years. So I'll work with you. The leadership team is wide open as that intermediate spot. We do have the Code Club, so we have had some success coming out this Saturday on the 22nd. I got a call from high school students back. They're starting, 9 o'clock up at Shangri-La? So there is traction is being made. I just want people to understand that. And I'm going to ask Gary to give us a bit of an update next week when we get some of this done. But there are things that are being done from multi-generational standpoints that I think people need to understand. And we are handcuffed to some degree by the amount of people that we do have in municipal maintenance. That's why I put 2 people in last year's budget. Couldn't quite keep them in, but we're going to try that again this year. So I'd ask for your support coming forth and all of the volunteers that have given their time and effort. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing that update. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you again, Mr. Willis. I appreciate it, and hope everything's going to...
Okay,
it's not hoping, we will move forward.
Excuse me, sir, but this is exactly what I was afraid of, that you'd just thank me for coming, and that would be the end of it. So I guess the signatures are speaking to the fact that it got me here, and they're also speaking to the fact that we have a real issue. So the issues that I just showed you are over years of neglect. Years. Day after day. Rita? Day after day. Right? So for you to sit here, no disrespect, sir, and say thanks for coming, that's not what I did all this work for. So the only one that spoke to the committee was Miss Winslow. So, and okay, but I didn't think it was as, really ultimately that's why I'm here. We haven't got a Parks and Recreation department because it got disbanded I don't know how many years ago. I'm sure Mark Gifford could speak to that. But we don't have an entity that's going to hold all this accountable. I understand you're asking me to go to the leadership team, and that's all well and good, but where can we have a plan forged, implement the plan, have a timeline on the plan, and hold it accountable to the change? That's what I feel you need the committee for. So if you say, thanks for coming, what have I done this for?
Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me.
Mr.
When I said
Chairman.
thanks for coming, what would you rather have me say? What would you rather have me say? I said thanks for coming, and we put you on the agenda to
Right.
listen to you present your theory. And you did. We have department heads here that came tonight to listen, and they have a plan. They're really willing to work. It's like anything else. It's just like running your household. We can
Right.
go to someone's household, there's trash out there. Are we educating them? We're educating our people now. By you stepping forward, we're educating people. I told you that slide that you had that said education. That's the best one of all, and you're starting by going ahead.
Right.
And by us having you come here, we're making the people aware of it. We are more aware of it. You have 600 names on that list. Out of 600, you heard it from the selectman and the harbor master. 9 people out of 600. So let's be realistic. We're going to work the best we can to do what we can with what we got. And it will get better because I think Mr. Buckmaster and Mr. Gifford are working on it with the employees they got, and I think they're making a good step forward.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Holmes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. Mr. Willis,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you for coming.
I appreciate that.
I want to say this to you
Go
because
ahead.
I kind of found that a little flip. I believe that the chairman was very sincere in thanking you for coming, David, and there's no need for that. Listen, I think I can usually read tea leaves pretty well.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me like the Board of Selectmen are leaning to be in favor of forming this committee. Couldn't do that today anyway, whether you'd like it or not, because it needs to be on the agenda for us to take that kind of action. And it's not. Your presentation is on the agenda. So, with all due respect, I'm pretty sure it sounds to me like the board might be leaning to that. I certainly am in favor of that committee I spoke about. What I said was I had some thoughts about who should be on it, but I do support
Right, well,
your
I
committee
misunderstood you,
or the
Mr.
committee.
Holmes. I misunderstood you, if I could speak. I thought that when you had thrown it out there that nobody from this town board could be on there, that you weren't for it. So I misunderstood you.
Well,
and the reason
no,
I'm here is I
excuse
don't
me,
understand
Mr.
the
Chair.
process.
Once
so.
again, what I think I said was, and we could hear it back, I'm sure, but what I think I said was there may be an issue with one of us sitting on that board if there's fundraising involved, because then you get into ethics violations and everything else. So the best thing for the committee is to not have a member, I believe, of this board sit on it, because then your fundraising activity would be an issue.
I misunderstood.
Because
that.
people could donate to your committee to try to buy us. I'm not saying that would happen, but I can see it on the blogs already. But what I'm saying is, even when we do our friendship dinner for the volunteers, we can't even go out to a local restaurant and get free spaghetti. Anything over $49.99 is a problem. So we would, if we appoint a committee, we would have a liaison to that committee from the Board of Selectmen, and every member of the board is free to go to those meetings. But I don't think you want to tie your hands by having a member of this board on that committee. That's what I was referring to.
Okay, I misunderstood you, but the thing is, the reason why I'm here, I don't understand the process, and I've said it earlier, I don't have all the answers, but what I'm trying to say to Mr. Cruz is that I don't want to walk out the door feeling like we're not going to move forward on the committee, and if you're saying that we are, then that's a wonderful thing.
Well,
If you walk out that door with that attitude, that's your attitude. That's not our attitude.
I'm trying to determine
So I
that
need you to
now.
be a positive attitude like everyone else is a positive attitude.
Mr. Chair.
Being negative does not work in this time and age because we have other problems, finance and everything else, and I think we're working with you. And thanks for your presentation, and that's the end to your presentation. Thank you very much.
See what I'm saying?
Mr. Chair.
That's the end to the presentation. No more comments. Thank you.
Seriously?
Thank you.
I'll be back.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Mr. Cruz, just one thing. It was just a misunderstanding, and I think
Excuse me.
that,
I said, the presentation's over there. isn't
I'm
it?
sorry, it was just a
Thank you.
misunderstanding. I didn't want bad feelings.
Right. Thank you. Sewer, any other town business, Mr. Clerk?
Yeah.
Mr. Clerk, any other town business?
None.
That's what I figured.
That's prior to sewer. That's prior to sewer.
Mr. Chairman, I do have any other, well, I'm not sure if any other town business is the appropriate venue for this, but, certainly, I'm a former member of the School Transportation Subcommittee, and it has recently come to my attention that we've had significant issues surrounding the safety of the buses, again, particularly related to brake issues. And I understand that we have buses, on the warrant for the town meeting under the capital items. My problem with this whole situation with the buses is this. We've been dealing with the situation for years. The capital planning committee has looked at it. The finance committee has looked at it. The school department has looked at it, and we still don't have a concrete solution because we're all going in different directions. And it's about time, I think, that these committees sit down together and start to work out a long-term, viable solution to transport our children to school on a daily basis safely. And I would like to ask that this committee, that this board entertain the option of appointing a committee, possibly made up of a member of the Capital Planning Committee, a member of the School Department, a member of the School Committee, a member of the Board of Selectmen, a member of the Finance Committee, to look at this issue on a long-term basis. And I hope that this board would consider that, putting a discussion for that item on the agenda of an upcoming meeting, sooner rather than later.
Right. Well, I thought we already had an ad hoc committee consisting of the same members you had just mentioned. So other than that, is anybody else? Mrs. Winslow, you have anything? Any other business?
I don't have any. I just want to respond to Mr. Schneider. I do think it's important that we look at this situation from the long-term solution. My concern is that we're in a situation now where there are clearly problems and there's no real plan in place going forward. We talk about hiring private vendors, we talk about leasing buses. This is all going to cost money. Someone needs to look at, the 5 and 10 years out, what is that going to cost us? There really needs to be a real look at this. So I think it would be a good idea to form some kind of subcommittee just to take a real apples to apples look at it and come up with some numbers, because I don't think any of us can sit here and honestly say that we feel good about doing any particular thing, because we don't really know what the impact of that would be.
Okay, I would think then we would put it on the agenda
That-
as Mr. Snyder.
yes, I would
Instead of discussing it all right now,
Yep.
let's put it on the
Thank you.
Thank you,
agenda
Mr. Chairman.
and get that. Mr. Holmes, Mrs. Begley? If not, any sewer? I don't think.
Mr. Chairman?
Mayor's up, sewer, go ahead.
We received in our packets, I'm not sure if everybody got it, I believe not this past packet, but maybe 2 weeks ago, a request from a citizen looking for, saying that this is a second request for hearing at the town meeting. I'm assuming this gentleman is meeting before the sewer commissioners with regard to a problem he's been having with his sewer, which has been ongoing for the past 3 years. And he's asking for a hearing, I guess, or a meeting with the sewer commissioners to discuss the issue. I remember several times this gentleman coming before the board and the Board of Selectmen agreeing to specific circumstances under which he would be entitled to maybe a reduction in his sewer charge. And I'm wondering if we should be putting this on the agenda. I'll give this to you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I think if it's the same, there were 2 members that came a couple of weeks ago, and we had instructed that the director of the sewer department look through the rules and regulations and explain to him what we could do and what we can't do. It's between Mr. Guy Campina and Mr. Mark Gifford.
Okay.
Before we take any steps forward, because we do have rules and regulations in place, and I guess they're just not listening, and they're coming to us. So everyone needs to go through the same procedure.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I didn't realize that that everybody had received that.
Right, I don't know who this is, but I know we did have, in fact, last year, I think they came to the board. And I think it was all settled until we come
Okay.
up with something else. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for your interest.
Sewer
Sewer?
business?
Okay.
Sewer, right?
Yes. Just something quick. I'm just wondering if there's been any progress with the correspondence that this board had received regarding some of the work done on Contract 2?
I don't think we got anything back yet, but Mr. Town Administrator?
Mr. Chairman, I've asked both Mr. Gifford and Mr. Campina for an explanation and to get in more detail with that as to what, and give me a chronological update as to what happened at that particular event.
And they'll report back to this board?
They will. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Any other sewer? Mr. Holmes?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to schedule Mr. Mike Martin send him an invitation after town meeting. I'd like it done here sometime in early November. Mike had sent us an email. We've been discussing a lot the last couple of weeks about Wareham Water and the sewer project. And Mike had offered to come in. He wasn't taken up on it, but he was offered to come in and give his history in terms of how he works when sewer things are going on in town. So I'd like to give him that opportunity to come in and tell us how he works that after time. I don't know, maybe November. Maybe we could ask him to come on the 7th or the 14th.
Okay, let's not, excuse me. Let's not put a specific date until we contact Mr. Martin to see what's available
if we
for
give him
him.
a couple of days.
Like
I'd like
you
to
said,
do it
after
right. I'd like
town
to do it
meeting.
while the issue's fresh.
Right.
And right after town meeting. The second thing I have on the sewer is tonight. We received an email kind of late from Larry Gaines, who is the chairman of the Friends of the Elderly. Apparently, most people are getting a notice in the form of a postcard. So I read this notice, talks about the Wareham Board of Health, and then there were questions. Please contact JC Engineering. So we got this from Larry this afternoon, so I made a phone call to this number to find out what the postcard was all about. Anyway, the postcard reads, it's very brief, Wareham Board of Health to pass new regulations affecting your property, with big exclamation points. Board of Health meeting Wednesday, October 19th, which is tomorrow, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Auditorium. Property owner will have to install costly alternative septic system beyond the requirements of Title V. Cost to upgrade your system will now be $40,000. Testing and maintenance will be $2,000 per year. You need to be heard and deserve an answer to these questions. Where are the studies that require such an aggressive goal? Why has no other town in Massachusetts adopted such an unreasonable regulation? Is there any less expensive solutions to achieve a similar or better goal? Questions, please contact JC Engineering, Inc. at 508-273-0377. The only reason I bring this up is because we received a letter from Mr. Gaines, which said select men and women, as well as the TA, Board of Health. Larry spells a little crazy. I think it's his typing. He says, I cannot make citizens' participation, so please read many about this postcard and the truth to it. Being you're the sewer commissioners in charge, I believe too many people are upset with the tone and suggested conclusions it makes for our seniors. Many will not get to the Board of Health meeting for lack of transportation reasons alone, or are disabled but own homes. They are worried that this will happen. I know that one person in particular was up all night, she has a pacemaker, worrying about having to sell her home. I will be at the meeting, but many cannot. Lawrence M. Gaines, Chairman, please make a comment tonight. So I brought it up on their sewer, and I called this gentleman up and said, look, I don't know what the story is here, but unfortunately, as Mr. Gaines states, this Board of Selectmen is still sewer commissioners. We have nothing to do with this decision being made by the Board of Health. The Board of Health is a separate entity. We do enough to get people upset with the sewer system, let alone new regulations from the Board of Health. So I just want to make the people aware, especially our seniors and the most vulnerable, that the Board of Selectmen sewer commissioners did not send this postcard to anybody. This did not come from us. This is not an official notice that we're charging you $40,000. I did call this phone number and spoke to an engineer, and then a gentleman called me back as well. And my comment to him was, listen, while I can appreciate you wanting to inform the public of something going on at the Board of Health, that's no harm, no foul to me. But when you send a message like this postcard to senior citizens who are 80, 90, 70 years old, living their lives out in Wareham in peace and quiet, and you threaten them with a $40,000 bill, and basically that's what this says. Well, that's only true if they sell or if they add a bedroom. Well, listen, most 85-year-old people I know in town are not adding bedrooms to their homes. It's not funny, ma'am. And these people are very vulnerable. And when they get this type of card in the mail, they think that we're going to charge them $40,000 for their sewer system. Also, as I understand, the sewer system has to have failed in order for anything like this to kick in. So, while I appreciated the gentleman's eagerness to get information out, I told him for 3 or 4 words to be added to this postcard would not have taken much room and would have helped a lot of our seniors to actually be able to read this, because it really does say on here, property owners will have to install. And that's not what I'm hearing to be the truth. It only has to be installed if your system fails or if you're adding additional space onto your home with more septic. So I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, that I took over 3 minutes, but it's important, I think, to get the message out. We didn't send this out. The sewer commissioners didn't send it out. And there is a meeting at the Board of Health, and if I was a septic person, I would show up tomorrow night because this sounds very important.
Well, I appreciate that, and whoever sent it had a number there. I think it was prerogative. I've been seeing it all night. They need to call that, excuse me, they need to call that number instead of calling up, and I think Mr. Gaines was out of order by sending it to us, requesting us to come here. Whatever he needs to be done, he needs to be at that meeting tomorrow. So if they need the numbers in there, get the numbers and go out. I think we're approaching 10 o'clock.
Motion to adjourn.
Which brings me to my liaison announcement, is that the Board of Health is having a public hearing regarding just these nitrogen regulations. So on the 19th, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And that postcard was sent by a private engineering firm. 1,500 pieces went out, and I got multiple phone calls. So please come to the hearing.
If we don't go over,
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to extend for 5 minutes.
I think a motion to adjourn has priority. Take a vote.
Okay, could I get the maker of that motion to pull it back? I need 5 minutes.
Hasn't, yeah. Is there a second?
No second.
Motion to extend for 5 minutes.
Motion to extend, second.
I'd like to ask Mr. Slavin to come up, please. Alan, I apologize, Alan. I've been looking at you all night, and I forgot I would have tried to do it earlier.
Now, is he on the agenda?
This is this is on the under liaison reports. Last week we spoke about the Tremont Nail Committee, and I asked Alan at that point last week to come up. It's on the record, and he is, obviously has more history in town than I do. So I would ask him to walk us through this, because I think, based on the board's feelings, we may need to intervene here and restructure this committee. So, Alan, I've asked for 5 minutes. I apologize.
And he already spoke about 3. No,
So,
he only spoke for 1.
If you could just give the board the details, that would be great.
Here we go. In 2004, the Board of Selectmen put together a Tremont Nail Master Plan Committee after the town purchased the property. The original setup was 7 members, 1 member from the Historic District Commission, 1 member from the Historical Commission, 1 member from EDIC, which predates, of course, CEDA. CEDA, I think, was formed in the end of 2004. 2 selectmen, 1 planning. The way it's written, it says 1 planning town administrator ex officio, all one sentence, which is quite confusing.
Is it planning or is it selectmen?
I'm just saying, well, it should have been a planning board member. The town administrator would have been an ex officio non-voting member. But the way it's written, it's not clear anyways. And then it says, and staff is needed, and 1 member from the Wareham Village Association. In 2006, the Board of Selectmen met, and they were talking about possibly eliminating 1 of the Board of Selectmen, but they also wanted to put 3 at-large members. So if you have 7 members, you add 3 at-large, you have 10 members, which is not feasible because you have an even number and therefore you run into stalemates. There is no record of the Board of Selectmen actually following through on this 2006 meeting and actually making a firm policy. When I got on the committee originally, I had a question about the makeup of the committee, and I was given an answer, but it just didn't make a lot of sense to me because it listed the CETA director as being a member of the committee. So I went through all kinds of records I could find. I found a set of minutes that the actual Tremont Mill Committee had stored with the Historical Commission. And there's a notice in there from Marilyn Wally, which is 2 previous CETA directors, in which she said she was going to step up and be the representative from CETA because the CETA board at that time was short members and would put a load on them. So I think that's how the CETA director got involved, as being the CETA representative. The bottom line is we're supposed to have 7 members. The 2 Board of Selectmen, I think, were basically with the idea they were going to remove the Board of Selectmen because they really don't belong on the committee per se because of voting, whatever else. And there's a note that says Mary Jane Pillsbury was going to be the representative, but they never followed through on that. So what we have today that we think is correct, but we don't know anymore really because of what I've turned up, because the Board of Selectmen never actually voted on this as far as the policy changed. So this has just been left in the air by accident. And what we have today is we have a Village Association member, we have a Historical District Commission member, Historical Commission member, we have a Village Association, which gives us, I believe, 4 and 3 at large for 7. We do not have a Planning Board member on this committee, which would bring us up to 8 or 2 selectmen.
Now, you mentioned Historical Commission twice, and you mentioned...
No, District Commission. There's a Historical District Commission and Historic Commission. They're 2 separate. I've got Village Association, Historic District Commission, Historic Commission, and the CETA member, sorry. And the CETA member, it does not have to be the CETA director because I went through the paperwork everywhere, and that just happened because someone made a decision arbitrarily to do that.
So this is what you have on the board now as members?
This is what I think we should have on the board now, plus the 3 at large. But it was never formally, because this is a policy board, it was never formally done by the Board of Selectmen back in 2006 and actually voted. I have minutes from 2006. They talked about it, but it doesn't show where they voted. So I think what we need is to basically decide what the 7 members of the board are supposed to be, so it's finalized. Because this particular committee going forward really doesn't know what it's supposed to be, really.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
is it possible for us to get copies of what Mr. Slavin has? Yeah. And, yeah. And can we...
If you would like, because it's late and everybody wants to go home, I will give Walter all the paperwork, including the minutes of the meetings in 2004 and 2006.
And you know how I like to have it done, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
To the office, stamp, and then send it, so it'll be on record.
Can...
Okay,
I still need it to the office stamp.
No, I'm here for just...
Can...
Yeah. I'll drop it off tomorrow.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
Whichever way you prefer. I leave the day after the first day of town meeting, and I'm gone for
Can I finish?
Well, it's entertaining.
Thank you.
Next agenda
Motion
will
to
be
adjourn?
Monday or Tuesday? Or Monday, well, it should be after the town
Motion
meeting. Why don't we do after
to adjourn.
Why don't we do after town meeting? Yes, go ahead.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Don't forget.